Was it the roar of hundreds, thousands, or tens of thousands of muzzles roaring at the same time? In just a moment, the entire sky was completely enveloped in firelight and cannonballs. If such an attack were to fall on Saiken Island, no doubt, this island with beautiful hot springs will repeat the fate of Ohara. For anyone, this is probably a scene bordering on despair. Because even those who are as strong as Aokiji and Zephyr, it is easy to avoid this overwhelming artillery fire. But if you want to block them all, that is no longer a realm that humans can reach. Sakazuki. Facing the overwhelming artillery fire, even a calm person like Aokiji couldn't help but roar in rage. Scenes from Ohara's past more than 10 years ago replayed in his mind. Just like Akainu said, this time, I still have no ability to stop everything. Even Zephyr's face was as ugly as the bottom of a pot. However, facing this scene that could be said to be beyond human control, Lin Yan suddenly raised the corners of his mouth and smiled. The reason is also very simple, because most of this seemingly overwhelming artillery fire, it's for him. This is also a matter of course. After provoking him repeatedly and defying Akainu to defeat Kizaru, if there is one person that Akainu hates the most at this moment, there is no doubt that it is Lin Yan. Akainu ordered the entire ship to attack. In addition to going crazy and extreme, he also had some intention of revenge on Lin Yan and Aokiji. And there seems to be a lot of smart people among Marine. Akainu was right to order the whole ship to open fire, and the target was Saiken Island. But Lin Yan and others who were standing in front of Saiken Island were also considered targets. Lin Yan narrowed his eyes and took a deep look at the woman standing next to Akainu with a cold face. I remember correctly, it should be called Momoshagi? Although I don't know if she is doing it out of kindness or for other reasons. But it's just what I want. Then let's try it. Facing the overwhelming cannonballs, a wanton and wild smile appeared on the corner of Lin Yan's mouth, and he suddenly opened his eyes. The originally dark and deep pupils have been replaced by Sharingan's strange lines. Susanoo. In the next moment, a skeletal giant rose from the ground. Under the horrified sight of all the Marines, he held a long knife and faced off against the sky full of fire. Then. That is. Many Marines were so frightened that they collapsed on the ground, especially those who had witnessed this scene during the Summit War, with deep fear in their eyes. The skeletal giant was wrapped with lightning and stood like a god in front of Saiken Island. Boom. The next moment, overwhelming artillery fire followed, shrouding the giant in the fire caused by the explosion. Kuzan. Do it. Zephyr's reaction was also extremely fast. He reacted almost as soon as Lin Yan blocked most of the attacks. He shouted loudly to remind Aokiji, and then quickly flew towards the remaining cannonballs. Aokiji didn't dare to neglect, and immediately activated his frozen fruit ability. Suddenly, the three of them worked together. Lin Yan faced most of the attacks, while Zephyr and Aokiji dealt with the remainder. It was almost miraculous until the first round of marine fire stopped. Not a single cannonball landed on Saiken Island. Call. Seeing this scene, even people like Aokiji couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief, and immediately looked at Lin Yan with dignity or admiration. Did that man do it on purpose? Aokiji can only think of such a possibility. He is not stupid, nor will I be so naive as to take everything for granted. Recalling Lin Yan's repeated provocations to Akainu, injuring Kizaru and weakening Marine's combat power, his words were full of contempt, and finally Akainu gave the order to fire. It seems that everything is under Lin Yan's control. In other words, Lin Yan had long seen through Akainu's character and knew that sooner or later he would use the power of these warships, so he took all the hatred on himself from the beginning. Kuzan. Lin has never been a talkative person. Zephyr also laughed heartily and looked at Lin Yan with admiration in his eyes. This is the captain of the 17th Division of the Whitebeard Pirates. He is also someone he is determined to follow. Ahem. Don't make sarcastic remarks here, the matter is not over yet. Then under the respectful and admiring gazes of Zephyr and Aokiji, the smoke slowly dissipated, revealing Lin Yan inside. Lin Yan's voice sounded a little depressed. There is also a hint of bloodline at the corner of the mouth. Even the giant made of bones looked like it was in pieces. There were many damages on the bones, as if they would fall down at any time. No way. You must know that Lin Yan has carried countless artillery shells before, not tens of thousands but several thousand. Obito's Susanoo is not the strongest complete form either. If it weren't for Thunderfruit's support, it's unclear whether he could have been able to block it. But even so, it is enough to call it a miracle. Lin. Are you okay? Seeing the bloodline at the corner of Lin Yan's mouth, Zephyr's expression was startled and he quickly asked with concern. You can't die, but I guess I only have the strength left for one blow. Lin Yan smiled bitterly and waved his hand. Achieving this miraculous scene also comes at a cost. Haki is almost exhausted, and Sharingan has very little power left. As Lin Yan said, he now only has the power of one blow. Of course it is also the strongest blow. Zephyr and Kuzan, please step aside. Lin Yan took a deep breath and narrowed his eyes to look at Marine, with a hint of murderous intent in his clear eyes. Although I only have the power of one blow left, but it's not rude to come back without reciprocating. Previously, it was because the number of these warships was too large. Once Akainu ordered. Even he couldn't guarantee that he would be able to intercept them all immediately, so Lin Yan set up this game to withstand the first round of artillery fire. After all, if he makes a mistake in his calculations or reactions, the person who has to pay a heavy price will be Saiken Island behind him. And those innocent civilians. Lin Yan considers himself not a good person, but he still can't do it just watching so many lives passing away in front of his eyes. Especially when you still have the ability to stop it. But now. At this moment, Marine fell into a daze because of the miracle in front of him. This is your best chance to take action. No, back away. The moment he saw the dilapidated giant slowly raising the long knife, murderous intent appeared in Lin Yan's eyes. Akainu gave the order without hesitation. However, how could it be possible in time? He was already in panic because of the appearance of the giant. I saw that miraculous power. Now he is targeted by Lin Yan's murderous intent. It would be good if the Marines could endure the fear in their hearts and not run away. Not to mention, so what if we retreat in time? Can the warship's speed be faster than Susanoo's attack? So from the beginning, Marine's fate was sealed. Sakazuki, die. At a certain moment, Lin Yan's eyes suddenly flashed with a sharp light. Thunder exploded from the other side of the sea, and all the power of Thunderfruit was urged to the extreme at this moment, accompanied by the long knife transformed by Susanoo. Like a swift sword, it actually swiped at Akainu and all the warships. Don't even think about it. In an instant, a feeling of near-death threat crept into my heart. Akainu finally went completely crazy. Regardless of the injuries he suffered from the previous fight with Aokiji, Akainu also activated his fruit power as if he was desperate. The whole body turned into flowing lava. However, that slash accompanied by lightning was like a devastating blow. Everything touched was instantly shattered, whether it was a warship made of steel or anything that dared to stand in front of this blow. In just a moment, he arrived in front of Akainu. Akainu roared and tried his best to stop this terrible slash. However, he was injured and his strength was greatly reduced. He only stopped the sword light and thunder for a moment, and then he was submerged in the bright light. Beyond Akainu, the thunder continued unabated until it swept across all the warships present before finally disappearing across the sky. Ha ha. After this blow, Lin Yan finally exhausted all his strength. Susanoo dissipated instantly, and Lin Yan also fell from the sky, half kneeling on the beach and panting. His forehead was already covered with sweat. The blow just now can be said to be Lin Yan's strongest blow so far. With the force of the sword, not only the remaining physical strength of Haki and Hitomi were completely drained, but even Thunderfruit's ability was pushed to the limit. But the effect is gratifying. With one blow, not only were all the warships destroyed, but Akainu was also missing. It can be called a miraculous blow. But now, it's almost time to run out of gas. Not to mention continuing to move, even Kamui who escaped from Summit War was completely unable to move. But fortunately, this time I am not alone. Seeing Lin Yan falling from the sky, Zephyr and Aokiji, who still retained their physical strength, almost did not hesitate and immediately came to Lin Yan's side. Well done, Lin. Zephyr had a cheerful smile on his face. Buster Call has been completely dismantled in a literal sense. Not only were Akainu and Kizaru defeated, but all the warships were also destroyed. In hundreds of years of history, this is probably the first time. Walk. Aokiji, on the other hand, didn't say anything nonsense. He grabbed Lin Yan's shoulders and started to retreat quickly. Although the previous blow was extremely terrifying. But Lin Yan's purpose is to destroy all the warships, and he doesn't mind killing Akainu by the way if possible. Because he didn't face the marine soldiers and generals. Although all the warships have been destroyed now, there are still many marine masters. Kizaru was injured, but he was not unable to fight again. All the powerful men at the vice admiral level are still alive. So Aokiji immediately chose to retreat. The crisis on Saiken Island has been eliminated. When the three people leave, this buster call will be considered a complete failure. Even if he is as crazy as Akainu, there is no reason to continue attacking Seikon Island. You're right. Let's go. Seeing Aokiji retreat, Zephyr immediately reacted and quickly followed the two of them. Lin Yan exhaled and nodded slightly to someone in marine across from him. Not long after, the three figures disappeared. What followed was a deathly silence from marine. Many surviving marines were pulling the wreckage of the destroyed warship floating on the sea, their faces full of joy of surviving the disaster. All the generals above Vice Admiral had complex lights shining in their eyes. There is admiration, fear, and apprehension. Finally, it was Kizaru who broke the silence first. It's really scary. The current juniors. The usual joking tone was gone from his tone. Kizaru stared at the direction Lin Yan and the others were leaving, and finally sighed quietly and turned around to leave. Within a few jumps, there was no trace. There is no doubt that this is Marine's failure. The remaining vice admirals were silent again. Momoshagi, like Kizaru, stared at the place where Lin Yan left, his pretty face looking a little absent-minded. For this girl, this is an extremely rare situation. Was that man nodding to me at the end? Momoshagi's pretty face is full of complexity. It seems that it has been discovered. The fact that he misinterpreted Akainu's orders without authorization and secretly aimed most of the cannonballs at him alone when directing the warship's firepower. Momoshagi Vice Admiral, are we now? The other Vice Admiral walked up to Momoshagi with a complicated look on his face and asked. Momoshagi finally came to his senses. A trace of tenacity flashed across her beautiful face. Send out manpower to search and rescue the marshal, and then, retreat. At this point, Momoshagi's tone paused slightly. I have to admit that we, Marine, lost this time. Whether it's strength or courage. 1 month later, an unknown island in New World. Teacher Zephyr, is Lin okay? As usual, Aokiji walked in with fresh ingredients in his hands. As soon as he entered the door, he asked Zephyr bluntly. It has been almost a month since the three of them came to this island. On the one hand, it was to avoid the large-scale manhunt by Marine and world government after the failure of Buster Call. As for the other side, Lin Yan hasn't woken up for a month. No way. Although the stunning blow before was extremely terrifying, Lin Yan almost exploded with all his strength for it. On the way to retreat with Zephyr and Aokiji, he fell into a deep sleep due to excessive wear and tear. Fortunately, it's nothing serious. After a doctor's diagnosis, it was just that he was forced to sleep due to excessive use of strength. In view of this, Zephyr and Aokiji discussed it and simply found a secluded place to live. Hearing Aokiji's question, Zephyr shook his head helplessly. Not yet, but it should be soon. Zephyr's face was full of helplessness. After all, he is not a professional doctor. When it comes to rescuing him, Zephyr can hardly do it, but he takes care of people. Cough. Just don't mention it. Fortunately, Lin Yan's aura is stable and has been getting stronger recently. Zephyr felt a lot more relieved. What about the world government? After hearing Zephyr's answer, Aokiji nodded calmly, and immediately asked about the reactions from world government and Marine. Zephyr opened his mouth and was about to answer when Lin Yan's voice suddenly came to mind in the room. What else can we do? It must be a wanted person with a reward. Those losers from world government are just like this. Hearing this, Aokiji and Zephyr's expressions were stunned at the same time. After reacting, the two people's faces showed a hint of surprise, and they suddenly turned their heads to look at Lin Yan. Lin. Are you awake? How do you feel? So. How long have I been asleep? Lin Yan showed a helpless smile on his face, raised his hand to signal Zephyr to calm down, and then asked with a relaxed expression. It's been almost a month. If you don't wake up, Kuzan and I will discuss taking you back to the pirates to find a doctor. Seeing Lin Yan's normal appearance, Zephyr immediately put his heart back in his stomach and even teased Lin Yan with interest. That's really scary. Lin Yan smiled. So? What do Marine and world government say? About this, Lin, you are now a famous person. Take a look at this, today's newspaper. This time it was Aokiji's turn to answer. After staring at Lin Yan with a very incomprehensible look for a while, he took out a newspaper from the vegetable basket and handed it to Lin Yan. Lin Yan tilted his head and took the newspaper. When he saw the headline, his eyes widened instantly. It was a wanted notice in bold and large format. The photo on the wanted list is clearly that of Lin Yan himself. Of course it doesn't matter. The important thing is 4 billion? In the true sense. 4 emperors level. Everyone in Lin Yan was dumbfounded. You must know that even a man like Whitebeard, who has dominated an era, has a wanted amount of only around 5 billion. The other 4 emperors are all at a level of almost 4 billion. Now Lin Yan's reward has actually reached this level. Literally, so to speak. Marine's #1 enemy. This. You really think highly of me? Even Lin Yan was shocked by this exaggerated number. After reacting, he couldn't help but smile bitterly and shake his head. Predictably so. If I appear in this sea again, the treatment I will receive will definitely be completely different from before. Now there are rumors outside that you are the 5th emperor on this sea, Lin. It's very respectable for his crew members to follow you. Zephyr laughed heartily. About this amount. He also possesses Rongan. If nothing else goes wrong, the Whitebeard pirates should be in trouble. Zephyr could even imagine the squad captains eagerly awaiting Lin Yan's return. Don't box me in. I don't dare to say that I can win in a one-on-one battle with other emperors. With this amount of money, it should still be the relationship from the previous Buster Call, right? Lin Yan couldn't help but shake his head and smile bitterly. He is a member of his family who knows his own affairs. With my current strength, if I really faced off against one of the 4 emperors, I would not say that I would definitely lose, but at most I would be 73 or 46. You must know that any of the current 4 emperors are real monsters on the sea. And now the reason why I can reach this amount. Mostly because of the previous Buster Call incident. To know the amount of bounty for a pirate, in addition to strength, what he has done is also an important criterion. There's no need to belittle yourself. Given time, I believe you, Lin, are qualified to sit in the position of emperor. See the wry smile on Lin Yan's face. Aokiji pondered for a moment, and then said something like this for the first time. Lin Yan couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. After reacting, he couldn't help but laugh and joke. What about you? Otherwise, just follow me here, and you will have a place in the future Emperor Pirates. In the past, whenever Lin Yan mentioned this matter, Aokiji would always avoid the most important things and deal with them in a perfunctory way. But this time, Aokiji suddenly fell silent. No way. Lin Yan was really stunned now. Then under Lin Yan's blank expression, Aokiji suddenly showed a light smile on his face. Okay, beat me. For the first time since Lin Yan started recruiting Aokiji, the man finally gave a clear answer. Defeat me. I will join your 17th division. What happened on Saiken Island before had deeply touched Aokiji. He had an agreement with Lin Yan. As long as Lin Yan can prove that he is qualified to lead Aokiji to practice the justice Aokiji wants to achieve, Aokiji agrees to join Lin Yan's 17th division. The man in front of me is different from myself. When Ohara was executing the Buster Call, Aokiji was unable to stop what was happening, but almost watched it happen without stopping. Same as Lin Yan said. Even if Nico Robin was let go in the end. That's nothing more than self-satisfaction. But just a month ago, the man in front of him proved it to him. Even if you are facing the same situation, you can still save everything with your brains and strength. Recalling Lin Yan's figure standing alone in front of thousands of cannons, Aokiji's eyes filled with emotion. Fearless, strong, shrewd, face it all. And most importantly, you will never regret it. This is exactly what I am missing. So at this moment, Aokiji finally made up his mind. Defeat me. From now on, I will be your subordinate. Aokiji. You. Seeing that Aokiji had finally made up his mind, not to mention Lin Yan, even Zephyr was shocked. But if you think about it carefully, this is a matter of course. Having witnessed that miraculous scene with one's own eyes, who wouldn't be impressed by that silhouette? Didn't even Zephyr himself come here like this? Isn't this great? Then Lin Yan also laughed. Although I have had a premonition for a long time, it will definitely turn out like this in the end. Yes, between men, speaking with fists is the most exciting thing. Standing up, Lin Yan looked directly at Aokiji opposite. Pick a place. Hearing this, Lin Yan's face instantly darkened. As a result, even the joy of recruiting Aokiji disappeared a lot. Whitebeard was kind to him. Although I had known for a long time that Whitebeard's physical condition was not good, especially after experiencing the Summit War, he was getting worse every day. But when he heard Marco's words, Lin Yan's face still became extremely ugly. Take me there. Almost without hesitation, Lin Yan raised his head and spoke to Marco. Follow me. Marco didn't talk nonsense. After nodding to Lin Yan, he activated his Phoenix Fruit ability, grabbed Lin Yan's arm and flew into the sky. Not long after, the two arrived at Whitebeard's bedroom. "Dad, I brought Lin here." Marco pushed the door open and his first words were to report the good news of Lin Yan's return to Whitebeard. Although he has seen this scene many times recently. But at this moment, facing his most beloved father, Marco still looked a little sad. Lin Yan's face was as deep as water. The Whitebeard in front of him was sitting on his spacious seat, but he could not see the aura of the former king of the sea at all. Like a decrepit old man. Not to mention that his whole body was covered with tubes for life extension, and even Hockey's usual full-faced look had almost disappeared at this moment. The sunset is nothing more than this. Anyone with a discerning eye would probably be able to tell that Whitebeard's time is numbered in this state. There is nothing we can do about this. After experiencing the brutal summit war, although he survived with the help of Lin Yan, the high-intensity battle still consumed a lot of Whitebeard's vitality. His already old body was even worse, if you just leave it alone. This king of the sea will probably meet his end on the Moby Dick. Forest. As if after hearing Marco's words, Whitebeard reluctantly opened his eyes. After seeing Lin Yan in front of him, a look of relief appeared on his resolute face. "You're back. Don't show that expression. Laozi is not dead yet, goo la 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 la." Although he seemed to want to give out the heroic laughter he once had as much as possible, the weakness of his breath made this heroic spirit somewhat feeble. Lin Yan didn't speak, just stared at Whitebeard in front of him silently. No one can resist the power of time. Even Whitebeard, who is the emperor, is like this. I have no choice but to show off to others in this sickly and frail posture. I'm afraid even Whitebeard himself would feel uncomfortable. I'm back, and this time Aokiji has also joined my team of Division 17, which should be a big help to us. Looking at Whitebeard's eyes, Lin Yan deliberately ignored his frail appearance and turned to talk about Aokiji joining the 17th Division. He knew Whitebeard didn't need sympathy, any ounce of sympathy and sadness. It is tantamount to an insult to the man in front of him who has dominated an era. Aokiji. Ah. It really sounds like something you would do, goo la 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 la. With you here, I don't have to worry about the Whitebeard pirates weakening. Whitebeard's eyes widened in surprise, and after a moment he burst into strange laughter again. As a legend, he is not afraid of death. Whitebeard also knew that he would eventually face this day. And if the only thing he fears or can't let go of is the Whitebeard pirates here in his family. Fortunately, Lin Yan appeared. This man has been bringing miracles to the Whitebeard pirates from beginning to end. Even if he, the emperor, is gone, Lin Yan is still capable enough to lead the Whitebeard pirates. Thinking of this, Whitebeard smiled happily. Lin, I'll leave the pirate group's affairs to you from now on. Don't worry, Laozi won't die for a while. Even if he does die, he will have to wait until he sees you ascend to the throne of emperor. Gu la 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 la. Like a flashback, Whitebeard laughed heartily again. However, Marco and Lin Yan watched this scene. But they all showed heavy expressions on their faces, as if they had swallowed gold. After a period of time, Lin Yan talked to Whitebeard about some of the things he had done recently. After seeing that Whitebeard was a little tired, Lin Yan exited the room with Marco. Both of their faces looked a little heavy. After a while, Lin Yan took a deep breath, turned to look at Marco next to him and asked. What did the doctor say? 1.5 years later, if we still can't find a solution by then, Dad will. Marco clenched his fists. The dignified captain of the first team actually showed an expression of regret on his face. If we had noticed earlier, this is not your fault. However, Lin Yan just shook his head. This is not Marco's fault, nor anyone in the Whitebeard pirates' fault. Lin Yan knew very well that during the Summit War, Whitebeard was prepared to die in Marineford. Heroes will one day meet their end. Without his presence, Marineford would be Whitebeard's burial place. Now it is just a delay of this time. It is a matter of course that people will die after aging. Forest. Looking at Lin Yan's somewhat sad expression in front of him, Marco suddenly gritted his teeth, and then looked straight at Lin Yan with eyes that he didn't know whether it was firm or sad. Although I know it's shameless for me to say this, Lin. If you have any way, please save Daddy. With that said, Marco actually knelt down towards Lin Yan with a plop. Of course he knew that he was just making things difficult for others. He knows Whitebeard's situation better than anyone else. But at this moment, Marco is desperately grasping at every life-saving straw. No matter what the cost, you don't need to tell me, I will do it. However, before Marco fell to his knees, Lin Yan helped the man up. I am the captain of the 17th Division of the Whitebeard Pirates, and it is my duty to maintain this place. Looking at Marco, Lin Yan spoke calmly. Maybe. When he first joined the Whitebeard Pirates, he just wanted 5 insurances and 1 fund or a more stable life. But even Lin Yan can't deny it. Everyone on the Moby Dick, whether it's Whitebeard or the team captains, have unknowingly become his family. Lin Yan looked at Marco steadily. You just have to trust me. Lin Yan looked firmly at Marco in front of him. Just believe in yourself. Maybe. There is no cure for Whitebeard's condition in this world, be it natural aging or the wear and tear caused by shock fruit. None of this can be compensated for by manpower. But don't forget, Lin Yan also has a fishing system. If there is no way in this world, then go to the heavens and worlds to find a way. In another world, there are immortal beings, elixirs containing the flesh and bones of the living dead, and various magical props and abilities. This is not impossible. For Lin Yan and the current Whitebeard Pirates, as long as there is the slightest possibility, it is worth a try. Lin? Are you serious? Seeing Lin Yan's firm expression, Marco was shocked. How pitiful, he was just shamelessly trying to grab Lin Yan's life-saving straw. Maybe even Marco himself. There was no hope. But now looking at Lin Yan's attitude, maybe there is really a way? Realizing this, Marco became excited. His lips trembled for a while before he managed to calm down. He took a deep breath and looked at Lin Yan seriously. Lin, do you need us to do anything? Marco asked extremely seriously. As long as I can save my father, I can pay any price. I believe others are the same. However, facing Marco like this, Lin Yan just smiled and shook his head. It's hard to say now, even I don't dare to guarantee it. In short, prepare a quiet place for me first, and then, well, don't let anyone else in the next year come and bother me, I need to prepare something. I'll do it right away. Although he didn't know the meaning of Lin Yan's requests, Marco nodded without hesitation out of trust in the man in front of him. Then he took Lin Yan all the way to the core area of Moby Dick. I'll leave it to you to inform the others, Marco. Remember, no matter what happens within a year, don't let anyone come here to find me. In addition, I'll leave the care of you to you. Looking at the secluded room in front of him, Lin Yan nodded with satisfaction, then turned his head and warned Marco seriously. I see. Marco looked serious. If I want to disturb you this year, I have to step over my body, Marco. Dad, we will take care of it too. That's the best thing. Lin Yan smiled, and after exhorting some minimum precautions to Marco, he walked into the room and closed the door. He's going to start fishing. There is no doubt that this is a race against time. Lin Yan brought up the panel and looked at the bait he had left. 600. During the previous Buster Call incident, I had also replenished some bait, which was enough for me to fish for nearly 2 years. But Whitebeard can't wait that long. Lin Yan decided to fish for a year and then use the remaining half of the year to treat Whitebeard. I hope I can be lucky this time. Otherwise, even I will be helpless. Looking at the bait in his hand, Lin Yan couldn't help but sigh. There are certainly many magical props in the system. But what is caught is completely random, and even Lin Yan cannot guarantee that he will be able to catch the required props or abilities. If you miss it this time, I'm afraid I can only hope to catch resurrection items in the future to revive Whitebeard. Then only the devil knows how long it will take. Anyway, let's get started. Shaking his head and throwing away these distracting thoughts, Lin Yan took a deep breath and sat down cross-legged. System, start fishing. Not to strengthen myself, but to save Whitebeard. A year flies by in an instant. Even for Lin Yan, this is a long time, 1 year. The consumption of 365 baits. Even Lin Yan had only experienced fishing for such a long time when he first came to this world. Dull and boring. But if you can achieve your goal, it's worth it. At a certain moment, in the quiet room, Lin Yan suddenly opened his eyes. He stretched slightly and made a crisp sound like fried beans. At the same time, the system's sound also rang. Congratulations, host, the fishing is completed. You currently have 365 exquisite blind boxes. Do you want to open them? After a year, the system's warehouse was once again filled with blind boxes. Open. Lin Yan's eyes flashed with nervousness. Because of the result of this unboxing, but it is directly related to Whitebeard's life. Look, we are opening the exquisite blind box. Ding. Congratulations to host 365 for opening the exquisite blind box. We are currently receiving rewards for host statistics. Statistics completed. Congratulations to host, you have gained 260 months of training experience. Congratulations to host, you have gained 260 months of Devil Fruit training experience. Congratulations to host, you have gained 260 months of Armament Hockey training experience. Congratulations to host, you have gained 260 months of Observation Hockey training experience. Congratulations to host, you have gained the inherent ability, Infinite Martial Arts. Congratulations host, you got Doraemon's time capsule. Congratulations to host, you have obtained the Holy Grail of the Netherworld, Pseudo. 3 special rewards. Lin Yan's eyes widened instantly. Good guy, your character has exploded. Sure enough, this system is quite powerful. The expression on his face instantly became joyful, and Lin Yan carefully looked at the descriptions of the 3 rewards. The first is the Infinite Martial Arts. The ability is extended by training the mind, body, and skills to the limit. The holder can freely and completely master all the acquired abilities and unparalleled combat skills. Doraemon's time capsule, as the name suggests, is a precious prop that you can get a chance to travel through time if you eat it. As for the Holy Grail of the last Netherworld, although he didn't know what this thing was, his intuition told Lin Yan that if he wanted to save Whitebeard, this was the key prop. After all, it's called the Holy Grail. How could it be simple? Lin Yan held his breath and carefully looked at the prop instructions. After seeing the instructions and how to use this thing, even Lin Yan couldn't help but stay where he was. It took a long time before he realized what was happening. Lin Yan clenched his fists in excitement. That's it, this wave of blood profit. The Holy Grail of the Underworld. One of the 13 god-killing tools from the world of Demon High School. A set of 3 pieces, the Holy Grail is said to be used in the Last Supper and filled with the blood of the only god. One of the top holy relics. Ability is naturally the bug among bugs. As long as you hold this Holy Grail, you can freely subvert the common sense of life, and the holder will gain the power to reverse or distort life at will. For example, granting immortality. For example, create the legendary dragon species. For example, resurrection. Just thinking about it makes Lin Yan drool. The most important thing is, Whitebeard can be saved. As long as the Holy Grail of the Netherworld exists, Whitebeard's illness won't be a problem at all, right? Facing the Holy Grail that can even resurrect people or make people immortal. Small question, sit down. Of course, there are also problems. Because it is a prop from another world, driving the Holy Grail of the Netherworld requires magic power, but Lin Yan has the magic power of a ghost. So in response to this situation, the system has made thoughtful changes. No need for magic, but it costs money. Yes, it costs money. To be precise, in order for Lin Yan, who has no magic power, to use the power of the Holy Grail, a certain amount of treasure needs to be sacrificed to the Holy Grail. Depending on the power needed to be exercised, the number of treasures required is also different. Then you can let the Holy Grail exert its original power. After reading the explanation, Lin Yan's expression instantly became a little strange. Can the Holy Grail of the Netherworld save lives? Sure. But it costs money. Does it cost money to treat a disease? It's just quite reasonable. Holding the 3 Holy Grails in his hand, Lin Yan didn't know how to complain for a moment. Do you think he is unreasonable? The Holy Grail has appeared, it's reasonable. But you have to say he is reasonable. It is quite true that medical treatment and life-saving treatment cost money. Well, forget it, although it's a bit strange, it still achieved its goal. After a while, Lin Yan shook his head and took the Holy Grail back to the system warehouse. After all, Whitebeard's life is at stake. How can a mere treasure be measured? Lin Yan had no doubt that if he went out and told the captains now that he could cure Whitebeard by spending money, they might even have the guts to rob the celestial dragons. Not only that, but it's huge. Although there are various shortcomings, in any case, Whitebeard can be saved. Thinking of this, Lin Yan's expression instantly became relaxed. He stretched, and then finally pushed open the door that had not been opened for more than a year. Lin, you finally came out. Then should I say it was expected or something? Outside the door, a large group of people was already standing. No way. After all, Lin Yan said when he entered that he would spend 1 year looking for a cure for Whitebeard. Today is the expiration of 1 year, and of course everyone is here. It is no exaggeration to say that we look forward to the stars and the moon. Lin, how? How is it? Seeing Lin Yan coming out, everyone was surprised and could not help but have anxious expressions on their faces, especially the squad leaders. Marco asked even more cautiously. Well, there is a way. Lin Yan smiled and nodded, then looked at the people in front of him who were about to cheer, and raised his hand to interrupt them. But there is still a price to pay. In short, take me to see Whitebeard first. Follow me. The division captains were all overjoyed and rushed to lead Lin Yan the way. Cost? If you can save Daddy, the price is nothing. Not long after, everyone gathered around Lin Yan and arrived at Whitebeard's bedroom. At this moment, Whitebeard is resting with his eyes closed. No one dared to make any sound for fear of disturbing Whitebeard, who was resting. Unimaginable. These are people who are so cautious that they don't even make the slightest sound when walking. He is actually the captain of the Whitebeard Pirates Division, which is powerful in the sea. Looking at the sleeping Whitebeard in front of him, Lin Yan also sighed. It seems the situation is not very good. Compared to the meeting a year ago, Whitebeard's aura was weaker at this moment, and the aura of a dying person appeared all over his body. Fortunately, there is a way. Lin Yan calmed down, took out the Holy Grail of Netherworld, and gestured to Whitebeard from afar. This is determining how much it will cost to save Whitebeard. Even from life to life, weight is different. Resurrecting an ant and resurrecting a person naturally consume the same amount of energy. This is especially true for an extremely powerful emperor like Whitebeard. Buzz. Under Lin Yan's control, the three Holy Grails emitted a burst of gentle light. Looking at this magical scene in front of them, the captain's eyes widened in surprise. In my heart, I also have a lot of hope for Lin Yan. After a while, Lin Yan took back the Holy Grail. But the expression on his face looked a little solemn. Marco, where is the treasure house? Take me there. Lin Yan turned his head to look at Marco, and his tone paused slightly when the other man looked confused. I have a way, but let's make sure first. If saving him requires the treasures accumulated by the entire Whitebeard pirates over the years. Are you willing? No problem at all. Marco answered without hesitation. Not to mention all the treasure, as long as we can save Daddy, we are willing to be beggars. The other division captains also nodded. It's the same for everyone. As long as they can save Whitebeard, they won't be stingy at any price. That's good, take me there. Although he had known that this would be the result, Lin Yan still couldn't help but reveal a warm smile on his face when he saw the determined expressions on everyone's face. Maybe this is the bond. Do whatever it takes to save the one you love. Marco smiled and nodded, and immediately started leading the way for Lin Yan with everyone else. No one doubts Lin Yan's words, because the man in front of me really brought too many miracles. Although what happened this time was a bit unbelievable even to them, as long as Lin Yan spoke, there would be no problem. Everyone present was thinking the same thing. The journey was uneventful. It only took more than 10 minutes for the captains and Lin Yan to fight their way to the treasure house of the Whitebeard pirates. As expected, there are treasures here that are almost impossible to count. Bailey. Treasure. Devil fruit. Things that would be snatched away when they appear in the outside world are piled up in front of you like garbage at this moment, with several mountains of gold and silver. This is the background of the four emperors' Whitebeard pirates. But looking at this scene, Lin Yan's face sank. Isn't it enough? Not enough. Even if you use all the treasures in front of you, whether it is devil fruit, Bailey, or precious treasures. Not even enough to save Whitebeard. This is what the Holy Grail of the Netherworld told Lin Yan. No way. Whitebeard is simply too powerful, and his body is simply too weak. Even if you hold the Holy Grail of the Netherworld, you still have to pay a huge price if you want to completely reverse Whitebeard's aging and eradicate all the hidden wounds. Whitebeard's life has such weight. Of course, if you use these treasures in front of you, there will be no problem in keeping Whitebeard alive for another 20 or 30 years. But this is not what Lin Yan wants. Since we want to cure it, we must do it thoroughly. And if all these things are really looted, it will be difficult for even the Whitebeard pirates to accumulate more, right? The current Whitebeard pirates are recuperating. All operations are inseparable from money. Lin, what's wrong? Seeing the solemn expression on Lin Yan's face, Marco stepped forward cautiously and asked. Isn't this enough? Not enough. Lin Yan shook his head helplessly. You must know that this is a life-changing miracle. Once successful, Whitebeard will undoubtedly return to his peak period. Even immortality is not something we cannot hope for. If you want to do this kind of thing, how can the price be cheap? That's it. Seeing Lin Yan's helpless expression, Marco gritted his teeth. Otherwise, we each have some over there. If it's not enough, just go grab it. A look of determination appeared on Marco's face. It was as if he was already planning to become a robber. Although this is not their way of doing things, for Whitebeard, everyone can't care less. Dad can't wait that long. However, facing the crowd whose expressions were gradually becoming firmer, Lin Yan, after stroking his chin and pondering for a while, suddenly laughed strangely. Okay. Don't worry about it for now. Leave these things to me. Your task now is to take care of Whitebeard and wait for me to come back. With an inexplicable smile on his face, Lin Yan suddenly said this. Forrest? Marco looked at Lin Yan hesitantly. Otherwise we'd better help. The team captains also nodded silently. Although I don't know what Lin Yan wants these treasures for, and I don't know what Lin Yan wants to do, but Lin Yan said before that even what he has in front of him is not enough. No one can imagine the exact amount needed. If Lin Yan was allowed to solve this kind of thing by himself, they themselves would look down on themselves. It doesn't matter, you can't follow me, so that's it for now. However, Lin Yan waved his hand and refused everyone's help without hesitation. But Marco seemed to want to say something else, but was interrupted by Lin Yan before that. You can't follow me. Anyway, I have to leave for a while. When I come back, the matter should be resolved. Lin Yan said this without any doubt. Everyone looked at each other and wanted to help, but seeing the firm expression on Lin Yan's face, they could only nod in acquiescence. But no matter what, we will try our best to raise money recently, but we can't leave all the burden to Lin alone. Seeing Lin Yan was about to leave, Marco finally couldn't help shouting at Lin Yan. Lin Yan paused, with a hint of helplessness on his face. Stubborn guy. The territory of the Whitebeard pirates, an uninhabited island. After leaving the Whitebeard pirates, Lin Yan deliberately found a remote uninhabited island. After confirming that no one was around, Lin Yan took out the previously obtained props from the warehouse. Doraemon's time capsule. It is a convenient prop that gives you a chance to travel through time as long as you eat it. You can choose any time point. The stay can last up to 10 years. Of course, the return can be terminated at any time. It's so convenient. This is the prop Lin Yan plans to use next. After confirming that the Whitebeard pirates didn't have enough treasure, Lin Yan started to think. Then the conclusion was quickly drawn. You still have to grab the money. Who's to rob? Of course it's to rob the rich. So who is the richest in the world? The answer is no doubt. Celestial dragons, in other words, Marie-Joyce's world nobility. Not only can it be said that he is extremely rich in the literal sense, but even if he robs it, there is no moral burden. It can be said that he is simply a victim tailor-made for Lin Yan's current predicament. Of course, there are no problems. You must know that now, after the Summit War and Buster Call incidents, I have become the world government's #1 enemy. Not to mention going to Marie-Joyce to rob. Ahem, robbing the rich to give to the poor. I'm afraid it's just a matter of showing up nearby. In the next second, various Admiral-level masters and CPS will come to your door. Although Lin Yan is not afraid, but the plan would be ruined if discovered. So the solution is also very simple. Use the time capsule in your hand to travel to a time when no one knows you. Then try to choose a time that is easier to succeed. Then the problem is very simple. Is there any time in history? It was Marie-Joyce who got into a big mess. No one knows himself. No one has time to look after themselves. What's the perfect time to sneak in? The answer is of course yes. 13 years before the Summit War broke out, a Murloc called a hero climbed the Red Line with his bare hands and freed his companions who were enslaved by the celestial dragons. Its name is Fisher Tiger. It was the most chaotic moment in the Holy Land of Marie-Joyce in hundreds of years. It is also the best time for Lin Yan to take action. Of course Lin Yan has 2 full years to prepare. You must know that even when Marie-Joyce is in chaos, it is not easy to take action against Marie-Joyce's treasure house. So just to be on the safe side, it has been more than a year since the Summit War broke out, so the time I want to arrive at is 15 years ago. Lin Yan's eyes flashed with a captivating light. The place I want to go to is the Fishmen Island 15 years ago. After confirming the time point to travel, Lin Yan took a deep breath, then took out the time capsule and ate it without hesitation. The next second, ripples flashed in the surrounding space. Lin Yan only felt a strange and powerful pulling sensation all over his body, followed by ultimate dizziness. Lin Yan was startled and subconsciously resisted. Powerful lightning erupted from his body. The space became unstable for a while, and just when Lin Yan breathed a sigh of relief, the pulling force suddenly increased, and it was lucky that Lin Yan didn't faint. You damn meow. In the end, I only had time to curse, and with a slight ripple, Lin Yan's figure instantly disappeared from the spot. Holy Land Marie Joys, over the Fishman Island. Plop. Along with a sound like falling into water, ripples suddenly appeared somewhere in the air, and then, Lin Yan fell out of it. The one with the head down. Those who didn't know thought it was bungee jumping. No doubt. You should know that if he fell straight into the sea like this, even with Lin Yan's current physical condition, he would still have to drink a pot. System. I promise I won't beat you to death when you come out. Fortunately, the constant noise coming from the surroundings made Lin Yan wake up early. See yourself in free fall towards the sea. Lin Yan started to curse without thinking. Seeing that the sea was getting closer and closer to him, Lin Yan didn't have time to think too much and quickly activated his Thunderfruit ability to elementalize his entire body. Then the next second, Lin Yan fell directly into the water. Fortunately, the Thunderfruit I got from my system had no side effects. Otherwise, Lin Yan might have become the first person with fruit abilities to drown accidentally. Bah, bah, bah. Because the elementalization was immune to physical impact, Lin Yan quickly poked his head out of the sea with an extremely unhappy expression on his face. System. Explain it to me. However, I don't know if he doesn't want to pay attention to Lin Yan, and there is no news from the system. It seemed as if he didn't bother to respond to Lin Yan's question. Lin Yan was embarrassed, and then he took stock of the situation around him. The sea. You are all water. In front of you is the endless sea, and not far away is the majestic red line. Marie Joy, the power center of the world government, is at the top of this continent. The Fishmen Island that Lin Yan planned to visit on this trip was visually found to be 1,000 meters deep under the sea. Although it was all kinds of tricks when landing. But fortunately the location was not wrong. After confirming his position, Lin Yan couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. But soon, Lin Yan discovered something strange about himself. What the hell is this? Just as he was about to use Thunderfruit's ability to escape from the sea, Lin Yan subconsciously glanced at his hands, and then suddenly froze. What is that black thing? That's right. At this moment, Lin Yan's body was wrapped in a very strange pitch-black substance, which looked like a black cloak. Not only did he cover his appearance tightly, he even covered his hands and feet. That's called a strict one. For those who don't know, I thought it was the big boss behind some dark organization. Lin Yan couldn't help but frown. After trying to pull it off to no avail, Lin Yan couldn't help but ask. System. What is this? An abnormality at the current point in time of the host has been detected, and the host has been given the status, shadowless appearance. Appearance without form. Hearing this, Lin Yan slowly typed a question mark. Then, I don't know if the system was too lazy to explain, but a lot of explanatory text suddenly appeared in front of Lin Yan. To put it concisely, Lin Yan is not a person who should exist in this time period, so in order to prevent the collapse of time and space, he has this special state called the formless appearance. The appearance will be covered, and no one can see Lin Yan's appearance clearly during this period of time. The ability will be covered up. Even if Lin Yan uses the abilities of Thunderfruit and Sharingan here, after Lin Yan leaves, this part of the person's memory will become blurred. For example, if Lin Yan opened a lock, when the witness recalls it, he will only remember that Lin Yan opened the lock, but he will not be able to remember whether he opened it with a key or by breaking it. It can be said to be a very convenient state. This means that Lin Yan can use his abilities unscrupulously without worrying about bugs. Of course there are problems. As for the system, if I change history, will there be any changes when I go back? Lin Yan asked somewhat seriously. This kind of worry is still necessary. Lin Yan didn't want to have any butterfly effect when he went back, leading to strange results. Except for the person involved, the rest of the world itself will be responsible for the correction. The system explained it very straightforwardly. In other words, even here Lin Yan changed some things and reversed the fate of some people. Wait until you return from this trip. In addition to the change in this matter that was changed by Lin Yan, the butterfly effect that Lin Yan was worried about would be automatically corrected by the world itself. Suppose Lin Yan kills Akainu here. Then in the future, Marine's 3rd Admiral Akainu's position will be replaced by others, while Kizaru and Aokiji will remain unchanged. The world automatically minimizes change. Of course this is already a big change. The impact of some small things is almost negligible. So that's the case, then I'm relieved. Lin Yan nodded with great satisfaction. Of course he won't be idle here killing Akainu. After all, it's not like you can't beat him if you go back. As long as you pay a little attention to the impact, you can be completely unscrupulous here. I only care about making trouble. Let the world take care of the rest. Thinking of this, the resentment he endured from being cheated from thousands of meters above the ground dissipated a lot, and Lin Yan felt much better. Then just when Lin Yan was about to activate his ability to leave the sea, a shout suddenly came from not far away. Brother Tiger! Look! There is a person who fell into the water over there. It's human. Lin Yan was stunned and immediately looked in the direction of the sound. Not far away, a pirate ship was heading this way. However, when Lin Yan saw the boat, the expression on his face was one of surprise. Fisher Tiger? If you feel sleepy, someone will bring you a pillow. You must know that in this plan to infiltrate Marie Joyce and rob, this fishman is an extremely important role. Besides, putting aside these things, Lin Yan also has some admiration for Fisher Tiger himself. But why is he here? If Lin Yan remembers correctly, Fisher Tiger probably first worked as a slave in Marie Joyce for a period of time, and after seeing the darkness of the celestial dragons, he decided to resist and climbed the red line with his bare hands. At that time, his face should be full of hatred and bitterness. Even the iconic sun mark on Fisher Tiger's body was specially designed to cover up the hooves of the celestial dragons. But this person now, looking at the crimson fishman standing on the bow of the ship, he looked at the expression on his face and the absence of the iconic sun mark. Lin Yan couldn't help but narrowed his eyes slightly. A very bad premonition suddenly emerged in my heart. Damn. What year is it now? Lin Yan was numb. When he saw that Fisher Tiger didn't have the celestial dragon's mark or the sun logo on his body, and he even looked cheerful, Lin Yan was already feeling bad. Didn't I come here 15 years ago? So what the hell is going on now? But soon, Lin Yan forced himself to calm down. Now it has happened. It's useless to think about so many things that you don't have. The most important. Still have to determine what year it is now. Just when Lin Yan calmed down, Fisher Tiger also called his companions to sail to Lin Yan. Human brother, are you okay? Fisher Tiger asked with a strange look on his face. Speaking of human beings, he has seen quite a few. But like this person in front of me. Well, Fisher Tiger has never seen this scene before. Not only was a person floating alone on the sea, there was not even anything to help him stay afloat. You know, even if a ship is in distress, the victims usually find a piece of wood or ship wreckage, right? Forget it. The human being in front of him was still wearing a large black robe, and even his face could not be seen clearly. It's really weird no matter how you look at it. If his companion hadn't noticed this, Fisher Tiger might have skipped Lin Yan and returned to the Fishman Island. Ahem. Hello, my ship was robbed by pirates. I wonder if you can help me. I will thank you profusely afterwards. This, Fishman brother? Seeing Fisher Tiger greeting me with a kind and curious look on his face, he immediately gave up to Lin Yan. The difference in painting style is also huge. Brother, your style of painting is wrong. You must know that Fisher Tiger, who was liberated from effort in the original plot, is not incompatible with human beings. At least it can be said that he will never interact with each other until death. Even when he was about to die, he resolutely refused to use human blood to save his life. It shows how much he hates human beings, of course. It's not that Lin Yan can't understand that if someone experiences the kind of betrayal Fisher Tiger experienced, his temperament will change drastically. However, although looking at Fisher Tiger, who looked kindly to him, Lin Yan was still a little unable to complain. Is this really a person? Fortunately, Fisher Tiger had no doubts. After all, Lin Yan's current appearance was completely covered, and he could not see the weird expression on Lin Yan's face. I see, those pirates are really ungrateful, so be it. Brother, you get on the boat first, and we'll talk about the rest later. With a hint of hatred for pirates on his face, Fisher Tiger invited Lin Yan enthusiastically. Before all the drastic changes happened, Fisher Tiger was such a generous and cheerful man. Because of his noble moral character and style, he is even called Big Brother by many fish people. This includes the future 7 warlords of the Sea Jinbei. Then I really want to thank this fishman brother. Of course, Lin Yan had no reason to refuse. Fisher Tiger smiled and asked someone to put down the ladder and pick Lin Yan up on the boat. Only then did the fish people see Lin Yan's current appearance clearly. A sound of black paint and a shameful attire. It can't be called weird, at least it can be called suspicious. Fisher Tiger couldn't help but frown. This human brother, what are you doing? Ahem, don't be offended. I suffered severe burns all over my body due to some accidents when I was a child, so I got used to this cloak. Lin Yan's mouth suddenly twitched. Fortunately, out of desperation, Lin Yan suddenly coughed and panicked. As everyone knows, I am a poor man with severe burns all over my body. Cover yourself with a cloak. It's also reasonable, right? This. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. What do you call me, brother? Fisher Tiger was stunned, glanced at Lin Yan apologetically, and then quickly and decisively changed the subject. From this point of view, he is indeed a good person. Lin. Just call me Lin. Lin Yan was about to announce his name when he suddenly paused. Time travel, be serious. Although the system clearly stated that the world would be responsible for solving minor problems, if possible, Lin Yan didn't want to cause any trouble here because of his name, so he just reported his last name. Lin, I understand. Then brother Lin, what are your plans next? Fisher Tiger nodded, and then asked Lin Yan. Lin Yan spread his hands helplessly. As you can see, I am penniless now. I have been drifting on the sea for a long time. If I didn't have some skills, I would probably starve to death. By the way. Lin Yan continued to tell lies with his eyes open. Then at the end, the fox's tail was finally revealed. I don't even remember how long I've been floating on the sea. What year is it now? It just so happens that I have a newspaper here. Fisher Tiger scratched his head when he heard this, turned back and took out a newspaper and handed it to Lin Yan. Thank you. Lin Yan thanked him and then moved his eyes to the newspaper in front of him. TNND, wasn't this 19 years ago? System, come out. I promise not to beat you to death. The face hidden under the cloak froze for a moment. In Fisher Tiger's opinion, Lin Yan was just looking at the newspaper seriously and made no unnecessary movements. Little did I know. Lin Yan has already begun to curse in her heart. It was agreed 15 years ago. Good guy, it's 4 years ahead of schedule. Lin Yan felt bad and immediately asked the system for an explanation. Due to host's previous resistance, there was a deviation in time, and the final right of interpretation belongs to this system. Then the system gave such an answer coldly. Blame me. Lin Yan's mouth twitched and he understood what was going on. The emotion comes from the fact that I subconsciously activated Thunderfruit's ability when traveling through time. It's a bug if the card is stuck. You didn't tell me earlier. Lin Yan had no choice but to accept the facts. Anyway, there is a full 10 years of stay. Small question, sit down. So the current situation is clear. At this time, Fisher Tiger has not yet been captured by the Celestial Dragons and become a slave. If the normal plot develops, he will be a slave for 3 years before escaping, and then climb the red line with his bare hands to liberate Marie Joyce 5 years later. Thousands of slaves. This was a turning point in his fate. It also laid the foundation for the subsequent tragic ending. But Lin Yan has no interest in waiting that long. Then there is only one way. I have to think of a way. Thinking of this, Lin Yan took a deep breath and suddenly raised his head and looked straight at Fisher Tiger in front of him. So, this Fishman brother, what are your plans next? Well, to be honest, brother Lin, we have been preparing to go out to sea for an adventure recently. This time we are going back to the Fishman Island to resupply. Isn't this a coincidence? Fisher Tiger during this time period, he is still very cheerful and kind-hearted. When Lin Yan asked, he actually mentioned his plan without any hesitation. Adventure. What a great idea. Lin Yan smiled and nodded. However, somewhere where Fisher Tiger couldn't see, there was a flash of eyes. Maybe I really happened to meet him. Thinking of this, Lin Yan smiled and said to Fisher Tiger. As a reward for saving my life, I am willing to help. By the way, what do you call it? Just call me Tiger. As for help. Fisher Tiger reported his name readily, and then looked at Lin Yan in front of him with some hesitation. Don't look at him like this. He is also a very famous strong man in the back streets of the Fishman Island. It's not that Fisher Tiger looked down upon the mysterious human being in front of him. It's just that Lin Yan appeared in front of him as a victim from the beginning. When he suddenly said this, it was natural for Fisher Tiger to hesitate. Don't say it's him. Even the fishmen around him showed expressions of disbelief. You must know that going on an adventure at sea is not just playing games. If one is not good, his life will be lost. Believe me, I have the ability to help you. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth curled up slightly. He knows that now is the time to show his worth. Brother Lin, this. Fisher Tiger looked at Lin Yan with some embarrassment, but just halfway through his words, a cold snort came from beside him. Brother Tiger. What's the point of hesitating? He's just a human being. Is he still capable of helping us? Arlong. Fisher Tiger was startled, and then glared at the fishman who spoke with some warmth and anger. He has always been kind to others. Although he didn't quite believe that the strange brother Lin in front of him could help him, Fisher Tiger was not willing to let him lose face. As soon as he said this, he seemed to be a little incompetent. However, Lin Yan laughed. Do you think you are strong? Lin Yan narrowed his eyes and looked at the fishman who was speaking, with a hint of danger in his eyes. Overestimating fool. Of course he also knew the fishman in front of him. Wasn't he the evil dragon that was dominating the East Blue? Murloc supremacist. Even though he is just as capable as a three-legged cat, he always looks down on humans, thinking that fish people are the strongest. Put your face up for me to slap. Then there is no way Lin Yan can get used to this guy. What did you say? Hearing Lin Yan's calm tone, the evil dragon was instantly angered and looked at Lin Yan with a fierce expression. That's what it means literally. If you're not convinced, come and give it a try. Lin Yan raised the corners of his mouth slightly. The tone was calm, but full of ridicule. How could the evil dragon endure such a violent temper? Seeing that Lin Yan didn't take him seriously, the evil dragon's forehead had veins popping out, and he turned to look at Fisher Tiger with a fierce expression. Brother Tiger. You saw it too. I must teach this human a lesson today. If he dares to look down on his fishmen, I will make him pay the price. Brother Lin. You. Fisher Tiger also had a wry smile on his face. Being familiar with the nature of evil dragons, he knew that today's incident would probably not turn out well no matter what. Even the other fishmen around him looked at Lin Yan a little unfriendly. This is also a matter of course. Even if he is not as scumbag as the evil dragon, even a person will be angry if his own strength is looked down upon by others. However, Lin Yan's reaction was very dull. Strength is not what you say with your mouth. If you are not convinced, you can give me a try. With that said, Lin Yan yawned and walked towards the weapons rack not far away. It's just bullying some fish people. There is no need to use your own abilities. It's like driving a supercar or drag racing in a wheelchair. You won't show your face even if you win, right? With your own strength. Not to mention holding weapons. Even holding a branch. Everyone present must lie down. Including Fisher Tiger. Okay, just be careful when sparring. Seeing Lin Yan's calm expression, Fisher Tiger knew that he couldn't stop him, so he could only give a forced smile and give a temporary reminder. Don't worry, you won't die. Of course you still have to lie down for a few days. Lin Yan smiled and took a long gun from the weapons rack. Originally, Lin Yan just wanted to teach the blind evil dragon a lesson. After all, who told him not to have a good impression of this guy? Of course, Lin Yan had no intention of taking it seriously at all. However, the moment he got the spear, Lin Yan's expression changed instantly. The moment he held the spear, an inexplicable feeling suddenly surged into Lin Yan's heart. It's as if, this spear is my own arm. It works like an arm, without a hint of stiffness. It seems as if I have been fighting with this spear for decades, and it is as familiar as eating and drinking. Even more exaggerated. The moment he held the spear in his hand, all kinds of exquisite moves suddenly emerged in his mind. And Lin Yan is sure that he can do whatever he wants. It is no exaggeration to say that Lin Yan would have the courage to hold this spear and fight in close combat with a top physical martial artist like Garp. Not only that, but it's huge, but Lin Yan is very sure. Before this, I had never practiced a spear. Don't say you've practiced it, you haven't even used it. But this feeling is so kind and powerful. It was Lin Yan who couldn't help but froze on the spot. After a while, a glimmer of understanding flashed in his eyes. So that's it, infinite martial arts. Rewards obtained from previous fishing. Train your mind, body, and skills to the limit. No matter what weapon you hold. No matter what ability you hold. They can all display unparalleled skills that can rival the great heroes in mythology. Thousands of armies can be easily chopped down, and gods and ghosts can be killed. Its name is infinite martial arts. Stop looking down on others. Seeing Lin Yan standing there with a spear in his hand, not making any defensive moves, the evil dragon finally couldn't help the anger in his heart and roared towards Lin Yan. The steel knife in his hand cut off Lin Yan's head without mercy. If an ordinary person were here, he would probably be dead soon. However, facing such an attack, Lin Yan raised the corners of his mouth and smiled softly. Then let's try it. A little bit of cold light arrives first. Then the gun came out like a dragon. Lin Yan's eyes flashed with a stern look, and the spear in his hand instantly turned into a stream of light, and he stabbed the dragon in front of everyone's horrified eyes. Brother Lin, show mercy. Fisher Tiger's expression suddenly changed. As the saying goes, an expert will know if something is there as soon as he takes action. This shot was so fast and so amazing. Even Fisher Tiger could only catch a little bit of the trajectory, and in the blink of an eye, the tip of the gun came first. No one would doubt that this shot would hit. The evil dragon will definitely die on the spot. Snort. However, just when everyone subconsciously closed their eyes and couldn't bear to watch anymore, Lin Yan suddenly snorted coldly and swiped the tip of the gun in his hand, grazing the tip of the evil dragon's nose. Then the gun style changed again. As a weapon known as the King of Weapons, it is not just about thrusting with fierce speed. And then next, all the fishmen saw a spectacle that was probably unforgettable in their lifetime. It's obviously just an ordinary iron gun. In Lin Yan's hands, it was like a swimming dragon, sometimes thrusting, sometimes sweeping, and sometimes cooperating with physical skills. Everyone can't even capture the most basic trajectory. All that can be felt is the continuous, dense sound of piercing the sky. Any one of them is enough for them to report below in an instant. The evil dragon himself didn't even dare to move. Feeling the sound of breaking through the sky dozens of times every second, the evil dragon dared not move, and his whole body froze in place as if it had been hit by a talisman. Moved? Don't dare to move, don't dare to move. After about 10 seconds, Lin Yan withdrew the spear with a calm expression, and the evil dragon subconsciously slumped to the ground. At this moment, his whole body was covered with bloodstains, each one was 12 centimeters long and 1 centimeter deep, without any deviation. This kind of spear skill is already terrifying. Brother Lin. Lin. Even Fisher Tiger stared at Lin Yan in disbelief with his eyes widened. Live so long. Fisher Tiger considers himself to have seen a lot of the world. But this was the first time he had seen such an amazing and terrifying skill. The fish people also showed horrifying looks. Before this, no one thought that the strangely dressed man in front of them was a strong man. But the facts are before our eyes now. Many fishmen already had a look of fanaticism in their eyes. The strong is supreme. No matter which world you are in, this is the absolute truth. Not to mention, the fish people are also a race that advocates strength. Suddenly, many people's eyes showed eagerness to try. Even if he knew it was impossible to fight, but if I could experience that unparalleled skill. Worth it. Even Fisher Tiger had a hint of emotion in his eyes and couldn't help but lick the corner of his mouth as he stood in front of Lin Yan with a group of murlocs. Ahem, Brother Lin, can you? You can still stand and say this again later. Lin Yan smiled. Apart from the evil dragon, he didn't have any bad feelings towards the fishmen in front of him. Since they want to try, then try it. It just so happened that Lin Yan also wanted to get familiar with the extremely powerful new ability of infinite martial arts. Superior. I don't know which fishman shouted, and the next second, all the fishmen, including Fisher Tiger, rushed towards Lin Yan with fanatical faces. Then. There's no after that. 2 minutes later, there were fishmen lying all over the deck, all with bruises and swollen faces, lying on the ground screaming and not listening. Fisher Tiger, who took the initiative to provoke, received special attention. I was almost beaten into a pig's head. Of course, Lin Yan was very measured in his actions. It looked very serious, but in fact it was just some skin injuries. Lin, Brother Lin. What are you? After a while, Fisher Tiger finally got up from the ground. The look he looked at Lin Yan was full of reverence. No way. He was really convinced. I originally thought that Lin Yan only knew how to use a gun, but in the past 2 minutes, Lin Yan not only used a spear, a stick, a knife, a sword, a hammer. Everything on the weapons rack was used by him. And the result is really heartbreaking. No matter what weapon Lin Yan switches to, as long as he meets him, a murloc will definitely fly out. Fisher Tiger felt like he could fly. To this strange Brother Lin in front of me. I am even more convinced. It seems that your strength still needs to be exercised. Seeing Fisher's look of reverence, Lin Yan smiled and shook his head. Now do you believe I can help you, or is this not enough? Enough, enough. Absolutely enough. Fisher Tiger waved his hand quickly. It's better to say that it's not too late for us to welcome Brother Lin to join us. This adventure seems to be ready. Hey, you think so too, right? With that said, Fisher Tiger turned to look at the group of fellow refugees around him. I'm done with it, I'm done with it. I didn't expect humans to be so powerful. Brother Lin, teach me some tricks when you have time. Although they were still lying on the ground with bruises and swollen faces, the Murlocs showed hearty smiles on their faces. Their idea is simple. Since Lin Yan is a strong man, he should be respected. From this point of view, the thoughts of most fishmen are much simpler than those of humans. At this point, it can be said that it is a certainty that Lin Yan will join this adventure, and all the fishmen have no objections. Naturally, there was nothing to say about what happened after that. I followed Fisher Tiger back to the Fishmen Island to replenish supplies. The next day, the group happily embarked on the adventure. Except Lin Yan. No one could have imagined what they would encounter next. Of course, this is something to talk about later, so I won't mention it for now. On this day, Fisher Tiger and Lin Yan stood on the bow of the ship as usual, comparing directions with a map and a permanent pointer. Suddenly, a fishman came to the two of them in a panic. Brother Tiger. Brother Lin. Something big has happened. How many times have I told you, don't panic all day long, tell me, what is going on? Fisher Tiger turned his head with some dissatisfaction. Brother Tiger. Arlong escaped. He left a note saying that he was leaving us to go on his own adventure, and asked Brother Tiger not to go find him. Hearing this, Fisher Tiger frowned. However, before he could continue to ask, the fishman who came to report continued to speak. Also, Brother Tiger, there is a world government ship coming towards us from the southwest. Fisher Tiger was stunned when he heard this, and then his expression suddenly changed. What? World government ship? Hearing this, Fisher Tiger's face instantly became extremely ugly. You know, even in this day and age, human beings also have serious discrimination against fishmen. After all, there is a saying that goes like this: people who are not my race must have different hearts. Humans' attitude towards fishmen is definitely not good even from the complimentary Kakuzu. What's more, it's those guys in the world government who have their eyes set higher than the top. Inexplicably, Fisher Tiger had a very bad premonition in his heart. Full helm. Let's go. So almost without hesitation, Fisher Tiger immediately gave the order. No matter why the other party appears here, staying away is always the right thing to do. Brother Lin, I may have to trouble you to help this time. Seeing the Murlocs who had received the order go down to work, Fisher Tiger suddenly looked back at Lin Yan with a serious expression. He now had a very ominous premonition in his heart. Understood. I will take action depending on the situation. Lin Yan smiled and nodded, and agreed readily. However, somewhere where Fisher Tiger could not see, Lin Yan's eyes flashed with a glimmer of light. He knew the life of Fisher Tiger before him. Before becoming the hero who freed the slaves, Fisher Tiger was captured on an adventure and tortured for 3 years as a slave to the Marie Joy's celestial dragons. It was the encounters in the past 3 years that made Fisher Tiger determined to counterattack Marie Joy's and free the slaves. Could it be that this is it? Thinking of this, Lin Yan squinted his eyes and looked at the approaching ship not far away, and an inexplicable smile suddenly appeared at the corner of his mouth. Is this what you call dozing off? Could someone bring me a pillow? Lin Yan thought this secretly. Hurry up. Brother Tiger said to leave quickly. Everyone, please work harder. At this moment, the fish people on the boat were already in chaos. Apparently close to the people of world government. The fish people were still very nervous. Yet these tensions seemed destined to be in vain. Boom. As if noticing that everyone was planning to escape, there was a sudden roar on the world government's ship. At the same time, a cannonball landed on the side of the ship impartially, causing a splash of water. They actually opened fire directly, and the warning is very strong. Should I say that I am truly worthy of being a world government, so arrogant? Lin Yan's eyes narrowed instantly. A dangerous light flashed in his eyes. Although he has known about the urinal nature of some people in the world government for a long time, this is the first time he has met them face to face. If he hadn't considered that retaining this group of people might be useful, Lin Yan would definitely take action immediately. In comparison, the faces of the fish people were ugly. Brother Tiger, what should we do now? The fish people all looked at Fisher Tiger. He is the backbone of the fish people here. Fisher Tiger's face also darkened. He pondered for a moment, and slowly shook his head. Wait until they come, Brother Tiger? We are adventurers, not pirates. Besides, if we continue to escape, the next cannonball will probably fall on the deck. Fisher Tiger said with some warmth and anger. The fish people nodded silently. When Lin Yan heard this, he shook his head helplessly. Sure enough, Fisher Tiger was still a little naive at this time. You know, world government doesn't care whether you are an adventurer or a pirate. But Lin Yan didn't say much. After all, if things really develop in the direction you imagine, it will be very beneficial to the plan to rob the celestial dragons. I just feel a little sorry for Fisher Tiger. So just like that, the Murlocs stopped escaping and waited silently for the world government's ship to approach. Then, as expected, a temporary bridge was quickly built on the opposite side, and two men, one tall and one short, stepped out of the boat with arrogant expressions. Wearing a black suit, he looked meticulous. CP. An unpredictable smile instantly flashed across Lin Yan's face. Fisher Tiger's face darkened. Excuse me, what do you do for me? Are you from the Fish-Men Island? As if there was no answer to Fisher Tiger, the tall man asked casually, and then waved his hand. Someone, take it. Why? Seeing that the other party didn't want to talk nonsense, the Murlocs showed angry expressions on their faces, and the bad-tempered ones couldn't help but roar. But there was just a sneer on the man's face. Because you are Murlocs, a celestial dragon's master has recently become interested in Murloc slaves. I declare that you are going to serve that master now. This is your luck. Just. For this reason. The outrageous answer made everyone stunned for a moment. Then comes anger. Serve? Don't you just want to be a slave? What you say is better than what you sing. Oh. It seems that if you don't eat the toast, you will be punished with a drink. Seeing the anger on the fish people's faces, the short man suddenly sneered. Then let's change the reason. We now suspect that you, the Fish-Men Island, are conducting dangerous activities secretly. In order to cooperate with the investigation, come with us. The two men looked at the fish people in front of them with disdain. Don't want to leave? Can you still handle it? As for the reason, that doesn't matter at all. World government is heaven. Black can also be said to be white. He looked like he had convinced everyone in front of him. However, this time they were destined to miscalculate. Well, I've already heard about the virtues of you people, but it seems to be a little more exaggerated than I thought. Don't you even want to lose face? Just when the two of them were looking at each other, there was a sudden burst of applause. Is this what you call scum? It's wonderful. The two of them narrowed their eyes and looked in the direction of the sound. The one who was applauding was a man whose whole body was covered by a strange black cloak, although the expression on his face could not be seen clearly. But everyone can hear the sarcasm. Very good. A cruel smile instantly appeared on the tall man's face. Not only are you provoking world government officials, you are actually harboring fugitives. This time you have to leave if you don't want to. As he spoke, the tall man suddenly stretched out his finger. Marine 6 Styles, finger pistol. It can be said that there was no hesitation in taking action, and the sharp finger wind rushed towards Lin Yan in an instant. However, facing this fierce attack, Lin Yan just yawned out of boredom. That's it. As he said that, he raised his hand to block it out of boredom. In an instant, the finger pistol disappeared. Varied. Both of them made a sound of surprise. You know, that's Marine 6 Styles. Even among the world governments, it is considered to be the best taijutsu. Although the tall man did not use his full strength because of his arrogance before, but he was blocked so easily. Is it a bit too childish? Brother Lin. Fisher Tiger's expression changed even more. Before, it was just a verbal exchange. Now if you do it, things will be completely different. Of course, Fisher Tiger didn't mean to complain about Lin Yan. After all, everyone could see that these two people were clearly looking for trouble, and even if they tolerated it, it would probably be in vain. After all, these two people said from the beginning that they would be captured and used as slaves. Fisher Tiger called Lin Yan just because he was worried. You know, if this is serious, it can be considered a provocation. Don't worry, these two people can't do anything to me with their three-legged cat skills. Seeing Fisher Tiger's worried expression, Lin Yan smiled nonchalantly. Even a monster like Akainu, Admiral, could only stumble in front of him. What are you two? It might be worth watching if CP0 people are dispatched. Arrest? Very good. Come here, take this person down, and I will interrogate him personally. Seeing Lin Yan's nonchalant look, the expressions of the two men, one tall and one short, instantly darkened, and they gave orders without hesitation. If you can do it, give it a try. Lin Yan smiled disdainfully, and was about to give these two some advice when he was stopped by Fisher Tiger next to him. Brother Lin. You take the others and leave first. I'll take the lead here. A trace of determination appeared on Fisher Tiger's face and he shouted to Lin Yan. Of course he knows that this strange brother Lin is very strong. Incredibly strong. But this is against the world government. Even if Lin Yan has enough ability to deal with these people in front of him, don't forget that there are so many fishmen on the boat. If you were really captured and made a slave, Fisher Tiger would never forgive himself. If it falls into the hands of those disgusting celestial dragons, will it end well? Besides, the other party said at the beginning that they only wanted fishmen. With Fisher Tiger's character, he didn't want to drag Lin Yan out of this muddy water. Are you serious? Hearing this, Lin Yan couldn't help but be stunned, and then looked at Fisher Tiger with some surprise. Brother Lin, I leave these friends to you. Fisher Tiger did not look back and just waved his hand at Lin Yan. What a loyal person. Of course, Lin Yan knew that Fisher Tiger was unwilling to drag him into the water, so he would rather cut off the queen by himself and just asked him to protect the other fishmen. Although he should also know that Lin Yan is capable of solving the crisis in front of him. But in Fisher Tiger's view, provoking the world government means endless trouble. In any case, the other party also rules the world. Although this is completely unnecessary. But that didn't stop Lin Yan from being moved by Fisher Tiger's coming forward. How to say? Is he worthy of being called a hero by later generations? Lin Yan couldn't help but laugh softly. He decided to give the other party this face. And considering that if Fisher Tiger enters Marie Joy's, it will also be good for his own plan, Lin Yan will not say much. After all, chaos is the only way to fish in troubled waters. Thinking of this, Lin Yan said nothing more. Understood, I will come back to you after settling them. Haha, thank you very much. Fisher Tiger smiled heartily. Although he knew very well what this stay meant, this was him, Fisher Tiger. The man who was called a hero by later generations. Want to leave? Have you asked me? Seeing Lin Yan planning to leave with the Murlocs, the two CPS couldn't help shouting angrily, and the taller one even rushed towards Lin Yan. However, Lin Yan just glanced at him coldly. Didn't your mother tell you that messing around gets boring? As he spoke, he picked up a naginata from the weapon rack beside him and threw it at the man with great force. The man's expression changed. He hurriedly cast Iron Body, and barely managed to block the blow until he retreated all the way to the stern of the ship. But I looked up. Where are the traces of Lin Yan and the fish people? As expected of Brother Lin. Fisher Tiger looked at this scene with some sigh, with a relieved expression on his face. Then he looked at the world government people who had surrounded them, and his expression suddenly sank. Come on. Let me see what you bastards are capable of. Grand Line, an unknown island. Boom. Accompanied by this burst of thunder, Lin Yan and a group of Murlocs appeared on the beach of the island unexpectedly. Thanks to infinite martial arts, Lin Yan's own abilities have also been developed to an incredible level. Before, he only materialized one arm of Susanoo, picked up all the Murlocs, and then used the lightning speed of Thunderfruit. Then he disappeared from the front of CP in an instant, and then brought the Murlocs all the way to here at lightning speed. Even with a little care, he would have to go hundreds of nautical miles. Of course, there are also problems. Vomit. As soon as they were put down by Lin Yan, the Murlocs turned pale and vomited crazily on the beach. No way. Thunderfruit's speed is not so bearable. Even if they didn't faint, they were thankful that they were relatively strong fishmen. In this regard, Lin Yan expressed that his mood is stable. A group of people just vomited, and it took a while before they managed to recover. Lin, Brother Lin. Boss Tiger. After barely recovering, the fish people all showed expressions of worry and grief. This is also a matter of course. How could they forget what Fisher Tiger stayed for? Isn't it just to protect them? Although the Lin Yan in front of him is very powerful, he also has enough ability to take Fisher Tiger away with him. But no one here is so shameless that Lin Yan takes it for granted. Of course it's okay to take it away, but what about after that? Let Lin Yan follow them and flee under the pursuit of the world government? Nothing is free in this world. We just met by chance. It would be too shameless to drag Lin Yan into the water just to be saved. That's world government. I believe Brother Tiger thinks so too, right? Lin Yan looked at these Murlocs. Their faces showed worry, sadness, anger, and helplessness, but there was no dissatisfaction with him. Then Lin Yan also laughed. Should we say that one family does not enter the same house? Lin Yan shook his head with some sigh. He liked Fisher Tiger's character very much. Whether it's how generous you are with your friends, or when a crisis occurs, you resolutely cut off the relationship so as not to drag yourself down. It's enough to show that Fisher Tiger is a pretty good person. As the saying goes, those who are close to red are red and those who are close to ink are black. It seems that under the leadership of Fisher Tiger, even these fishmen have quite good character. In fact, if someone accused Lin Yan just now, why didn't he take Fisher Tiger away with him? Lin Yan must turn around and leave, but they didn't. This alone was enough reason for Lin Yan to lend a helping hand. Anyway, if you hide here for a while, it's okay to go back to the Fishmen Island. As for Tiger, I have my own plans. Looking at the fishmen in front of him, Lin Yan chuckled and spoke. To know. He also hopes that Fisher Tiger can muddy the water in Marie Joy's, and then he will be able to relax a lot. At this point, Lin Yan doesn't mind liberating the Marie Joy's slaves a few years earlier. In the final analysis, this is the relationship between people. Now that he has interacted with Fisher Tiger and recognized his character, Lin Yan certainly would not watch him being tortured for 3 years like in the original novel. Then he died silently in an unknown corner. Is this, Brother Lin, okay? Hearing what Lin Yan said, the fish people showed some hesitation on their faces. But Brother Tiger, and we don't want to implicate you. If Brother Lin, you continue to interfere. Are you looking down on me? Lin Yan snorted and narrowed his eyes to look at everyone. Tiger considers me a friend. Can I just watch him be captured and made a slave by those disgusting celestial dragons? This. The fish people stopped talking. After a long while, a fishman with a simple and honest face stood up. Then it's up to you, Brother Lin, please bring Brother Tiger back. As he said this, the fishman suddenly bowed deeply to Lin Yan. The rest of the fishmen are exactly the same. Please, and I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do. I see, is this the so-called bond? Lin Yan did not reply, but shook his head with emotion, and then with another burst of thunder, the whole person quickly disappeared from the other side of the sky. A week later, Holy Land Marie Joy's. Tisk. Speaking of which, this is the first time I've seen a gorgeous building and felt disgusted from the bottom of my heart. Lin Yan stood among the clouds, overlooking the brightly lit Marie Joy's below. But he smacked his lips in great displeasure. Especially seeing those fat-headed celestial dragons on the street, Lin Yan felt even more unhappy. After a week of preparation and intelligence probing, Lin Yan chose to sneak into Marie Joy's today. I have 2 main purposes for this trip. First, rescue Fisher Tiger without anyone noticing, and then assist him in completing the great cause of liberating the slaves, while also causing chaos in Marie Joy's. Second, empty out all the wealth of these disgusting guys. Think of it as compensation for making yourself unhappy. During this week's preparation time, Lin Yan also focused on collecting information about Marie Joy's, such as the terrain. This took him a lot of effort. No way. After all, this is Mecha Marie Joy's, the core area of world government. Even getting a complete map was extremely difficult, and in the end Lin Yan had to spend a lot of money on the black market to get it. As for where the money comes from, Lin Yan said that he is a generous person. As a very generous gentleman, in order to suppress my desire to kill people, it should be very reasonable for me to use the life money of you scum to buy a map, right? It's indeed reasonable. Let me see, the entrance is the chimney of the Holy House of Chowros, then go through the coal room and into the sewer, and finally lead to cell number 1. Tisk. Why'd I have to go to a ghost place like the sewer? Lin Yan couldn't help but smacked his lips again. Then very decisively decided to put this account on the head of celestial dragons. Putting away the map, Lin Yan sighed softly. Then the whole person looked like a ghost, and a small lightning flashed in the dark clouds, and then happened to hit the chimney of St. Charlos' house. Lin Yan successfully sneaked into the boiler room without anyone noticing. Okay, as expected of you. However, as soon as he entered the boiler room, Lin Yan couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. You told me this was a boiler room. What a palace this is. How many square meters does your boiler room occupy? To be honest, if it weren't for the coal pile in the corner and the huge boiler emitting blazing fire, Lin Yan would have doubted whether he was in the wrong place. It's really yours, celestial dragons. This is the first time Lin Yan has seen how luxurious celestial dragons is. At the same time, it also strengthened the determination to rob the rich and help the poor. After sighing a little for this boiler room, which was larger than the Whitebeard Pirates conference hall, Lin Yan shook his head and quickly found the cover to the sewer in the corner according to the planned route. Jianan couldn't help but flash a hint of disgust on Lin Yan's face. Even the cover of the sewer is made of high-quality steel. Lin Yan once again realized his poverty. Poverty limited my imagination. With a look of disgust on his face, and a complicated expression that was a little bit overwhelmed by the wealth, Lin Yan opened the cover of the sewer and got in like a loach. Of course, I didn't forget to put everything back in its place. After covering all his traces, Lin Yan nodded with satisfaction, opened the map and was about to follow the intricate route to cell number 1 as planned, when he suddenly froze in the next second. The reason is also very simple. About 10 meters away, there was a small figure, blinking his big eyes and looking straight at him. The atmosphere fell silent for a moment. The opponent's big eyes blink and blink. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. Silence is Cambridge tonight. Seeing Lin Yan staying where he was, a trace of panic flashed in the little girl's eyes, and she finally couldn't help but open her mouth. I will surpass you. Lin Yan reached out and covered the little girl's mouth with a shovel. A smile uglier than crying appeared on his face. Little sister, calm down. I'm not a good person either. Bah. I am a good person. Lin Yan almost wanted to slap himself. What are you talking about when you have nothing to do? It's good now. Seeing the frightened look in the little girl's eyes, Lin Yan was 1 head and 2 older. Why does this happen? Everything is obviously being executed according to the plan, so why is there an unknown little girl here? Ahem, calm down. Calm down. Little sister, you don't want others to find us here, right? By the way, you know where this is, right? Seeing that the little girl was about to struggle, Lin Yan quickly coughed and tried to calm her down. Not to mention it's really useful. After hearing Lin Yan's words, the little girl's eyes flashed with panic, and then she actually calmed down. Okay, it seems that he is not a simple naughty kid. Lin Yan couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Ahem, little sister, I didn't mean it just now. Now I let you go. Remember not to yell. If you agree, just nod. The little girl nodded silently. He seems to be a sensible child. Lin Yan felt slightly relieved and reached out to put the little girl down. This is a girl who looks a little dirty. There is nothing we can do about this. After all, judging from her appearance, she has been hiding here for a while. You must know that this is a sewer, even the sewer of celestial dragons. If you hide for a long time, you will inevitably get some strange things. Gululu. Then, just as the two of them looked at each other speechlessly, a strange sound suddenly came from the space. The little girl's face instantly turned red. Fortunately, I brought some dry food. Do you want some? Lin Yan smiled bitterly and shook his head, then took out some dry food he had prepared and placed it in front of the little girl. May I? The little girl just looked at Lin Yan silently, and after a while, she asked cautiously. Good guy, this kid was persecuted so badly. A trace of helplessness flashed across Lin Yan's face, and he tried his best to show a gentle expression on his face, and then nodded heavily. It does not matter. Thank you. It seems that he is a well-educated child, and he actually knows how to say thank you. Seeing the little girl eating the dry food quickly but elegantly, Lin Yan's mood can't help but feel better. Speaking of which, little sister, what is your name? Feeling that he had initially gained trust, Lin Yan couldn't help but ask with a smile. Boa Hancock. The little girl hesitated for a moment, not knowing whether it was for the sake of the dry food in her hand, but she said her name abruptly. Lin Yan nodded. I see, it's called Hancock. It's such a good name. Wait a minute, what's your name? Lin Yan was stunned. Looking at the cute and well-behaved little girl in front of me, she immediately showed a shocked expression as if a ghost had seen me. Boa Hancock? That empress who is extremely arrogant and cheers for her all day long? That complex thinking, love-minded Boa Hancock? My dear, you must have grown crookedly. Lin Yan's expression instantly became extremely weird. Please allow his imagination to be too poor. In any case, Lin Yan could not connect the empress whose smile would captivate the whole country in the future with the pitiful and extremely well-behaved Boa Hancock in front of her. Well, what's wrong, big brother? Do you know me? Seeing the ghostly expression on Lin Yan's face, little Hancock tilted his head in confusion. We are acquaintances for now. Well, for now. Lin Yan nodded with a strange look on his face, and at the same time his head turned rapidly. He still knew something about the famous empress. As a child, Boa Hancock was captured by the celestial dragons and lived as a slave for a period of time. If I remember correctly, it should have been when she was a teenager. Then just calculate it carefully. For his own reasons, Fisher Tiger came a little early. I haven't gone through the 3 years of torture of the original plot. And of course, Boa Hancock at this time. Is it possible? Well, little Hancock, have you just arrived here? And why are you in this sewer? As if he sensed a certain possibility, Lin Yan's eyes lit up and he asked the little Hancock in front of him. I. Little Hancock was stunned for a moment, and then tears instantly appeared in his big bright eyes. My sister was also captured. I escaped with their help, but, wow. It seems that I have suffered too many grievances during this period. Facing this big brother who was willing to give him food and seemed very gentle, little Hancock finally couldn't stand it any longer and threw himself into Lin Yan's arms crying. However, Lin Yan breathed a sigh of relief. After all, it has been confirmed from Hancock's words since childhood. She had just arrived in Marie Joy's. Moreover, he managed to hide here under the cover of his two younger sisters, and happened to be encountered by himself. One can imagine. The entire Celestial Dragons team has nothing to lose, but these world government hyenas are not vegetarians. If he hadn't appeared, the little Hancock hiding here would have been found soon, and then there's no need to say more about what happened next. That will be a lifelong scar for Boa Hancock. Could it be that this is God's will? Lin Yan sighed with emotion. Because something went wrong during the shuttle, he came a few years earlier. Not only did he meet Fisher Tiger, who had not yet been tortured and his personality changed drastically, but he also saved the Empress here by accident. If not, I'm afraid there will be some regrets this time. Okay, little Hancock, I almost know the details. By the way, did you run away as soon as you came to Marie Joy's? Well, yes. After crying for so long, little Hancock seemed to have calmed down a lot, and answered softly with sobs. At the same time, Lin Yan kept getting closer. The strange big brother who suddenly appeared in front of her seemed to have become her life-saving straw. Even an empress like Boa Hancock subconsciously wanted to rely on Lin Yan at this time. Lin Yan sighed again. Although I feel very sorry for the crying little Hancock, there is still something I need to confirm. Thinking about it, Lin Yan silently patted little Hancock on the back. Then the next second, he took a long breath. Fortunately, that damn thing really hasn't arrived yet. Many things in this world are like this. Some tragic and dark past events or secrets. If you just listen to it, you will probably just give up with a sigh. But if it happens in front of you, a surge of emotions will ensue. At least he looked at the crying little Hancock. Lin Yan has really had the urge to tear off the heads of those celestial dragons. In that case, little Hancock, just follow me during this period. Seeing the little Hancock in front of him calm down slightly, Lin Yan sighed and put her on the ground, and then spoke to the girl very seriously. If we say we haven't met him, that's fine. But since they met by chance, Lin Yan would definitely not let it go. Fortunately, it's all in time now, because she ran out as soon as she arrived at Marie Joy's, before the hooves of the damned celestial dragons were branded on her back. And have yourself here. Nothing next will happen. Really? Hearing what Lin Yan said, little Hancock was obviously stunned for a moment, and then nodded his head hurriedly. Although the big brother in front of me, wrapped in a cloak, looks strange. His behavior is also very suspicious, but at least it looks gentler than those celestial dragons. Boa Hancock at this age. Maybe she doesn't understand any big principles, but at least she has very simple ideas. It's better to follow this strange big brother than to be captured by the celestial dragons. In that case, let's set off. Seeing little Hancock agreeing very obediently, Lin Yan couldn't help but smile. Although I don't know whether this should be called trust or what. But now that the other party has made a decision, Lin Yan will definitely not let her down. Big brother, where are you going? Following Lin Yan in the sewer obediently, little Hancock turned his head to look at Lin Yan and asked curiously. We are going to find a very good person now. Maybe. He is the hope of everyone here. Lin Yan replied with a chuckle, hope. Little Hancock suddenly fell silent. Although she is very young now, she is no longer naive after experiencing some things. In Marie Joy's, which is known as the Holy Land. Is there really any hope left? Maybe for those celestial dragons. Little Hancock was a little suspicious, but he was obedient and didn't say much. Since he had decided to follow the big brother in front of him, he just had to obey. Seeing her well-behaved and calm look, Lin Yan felt a little distressed. Unimaginable. The pitiful child in front of her was the Empress of Nine Snake Island who would later become the 7 warlords of the sea. But now it's important to get down to business. Lin Yan calmed down, and according to the map's guidance, he quickly led Hancock to cell number 1. Lin Yan narrowed his eyes slightly and looked at the 2 guards not far from the sewer exit with their backs to him. Little Hancock, please wait here, I have something to take care of. Lin Yan turned to look at Little Hancock, trying his best to put a gentle smile on his face. Little Hancock nodded obediently, but there was still a hint of worry in Lin Yan's eyes. Being smart, she had already guessed what Lin Yan was going to do next. Such worries are obviously unnecessary. Lin Yan smiled softly and disappeared suddenly. The next second, there were two neat sounds of landing in the cell. So awesome. Little Hancock's eyes widened and she watched in amazement as Lin Yan easily defeated the two guards. She had never seen such a fierce method even among the powerful warriors of Nine Snake Island. However, at this moment, Lin Yan's face darkened. Because not far in front of him, Fisher Tiger was hanging on a chain. The heart is the hooves of celestial dragons. Although he had known that this would be the case, Lin Yan's expression was still a bit complicated when he saw this scene with his own eyes. Hey, you. Daughter, you from outside? Help me. As long as you save me, I'll give you anything. I am a pirate with a bounty of 70 million. As long as you take me out, I will surrender to the Marine with you. At the same time, seeing Lin Yan dispatching the guards neatly, the slaves imprisoned here also started to make a noise. Shut up. Do you want to attract others to you? Because of the Fisher Tiger in front of him, Lin Yan was in a slightly bad mood and snorted at these slaves. In an instant, no one dared to speak. Lin Yan couldn't help but sigh. No matter who they were before, they are nothing but wretches in this holy land of celestial dragons. These so-called nobles of the world, it's really damn. Lin Yan exhaled with a complicated expression, and then walked up to Fisher Tiger's cell. With a slight exertion of his hand, he easily opened the iron lock. Fisher Tiger opened his eyes with some effort and was slightly startled when he saw Lin Yan in front of him. Lin Yan just smiled. As promised, Tiger, I'm here to find you. If ordinary people saw this scene, they would be ecstatic, right? But Fisher Tiger just sighed with a complicated expression. Brother Lin, you shouldn't have come. Yes, Lin Yan shouldn't have come. You must know that this is Marie Joy's, the holy land of celestial dragons. The defense level is not at the same level as outside. Originally, he didn't want to drag Lin Yan into the water, but now that Lin Yan appears here, isn't he entering the dragon's den and the tiger's den? However, facing Fisher Tiger's side, Lin Yan just smiled arrogantly. Don't say anything out of the ordinary at this time. Anyway, I'll let you down first. I have something else I need your help with later. As he spoke, Lin Yan smiled and snapped his fingers. The iron chains wrapped around Fisher Tiger's hands and feet broke with a sound. When the surrounding slaves saw this scene, they all showed envious expressions on their faces. But because of Lin Yan's previous warning, no one dared to make any noise. Fisher Tiger landed on the ground, moved his somewhat stiff limbs, and then showed a grateful expression to Lin Yan. I understand, Brother Lin. I won't say anything to outsiders. By the way, what is it you asked me to do? As long as I can do it, I will not refuse. Fisher Tiger spoke extremely seriously. He always repays kindness, and Lin Yan has helped him a lot. However, even though he had the intention of repaying his kindness, what Lin Yan said next made Fisher Tiger's face change instantly. Because what Lin Yan said is, free all the slaves here. Even people like Fisher Tiger were wide-eyed by Lin Yan. Free all the slaves here? Is this really possible? No one dares to think of such a thing, because this is the holy land Marie Joy's. Even Fisher Tiger didn't dare to think about it now. He never expected that Brother Lin, whom he had just met not long ago, would be so courageous. This is too much trouble. Lin. Brother Lin, are you kidding? The cold sweat on his forehead immediately started flowing down. Fisher Tiger showed a reluctant expression on his face and couldn't help but confirm to Lin Yan. Well, that's the first step. Lin Yan nodded his head calmly. Fisher Tiger people are going to be stupid. First step? Do you mean there is a second and third step? Although Fisher Tiger looks simple, he is not a fool, and he immediately realized the seriousness of the problem. If freeing all the slaves here is just the first step, what are Brother Lin in front of me going to do? Don't show that expression, cheer up, you are the boss of the backstreets of the Fishman Island. Lin Yan looked at Fisher Tiger's Spartan look with some amusement. But there was no intention of ridicule. After all, who would choose to take risks if they were not really tortured? Now Fisher Tiger has not gone through the 3 years of torture that he should have gone through, so he will feel shocked or panicked as a matter of course. I have to say that Celestial Dragon's methods are quite clever. Fear is an invisible force. A full 800 years of rule has deeply rooted in the hearts of the people the status of the celestial dragons as world nobles in their image that they cannot be messed with. People simply don't want to rebel against the celestial dragons. As if everything is taken for granted, it's normal for Fisher Tiger to have trouble turning for a while. But Lin Yan doesn't accept this trick. Don't worry, nothing will happen. Even the celestial dragons are nothing more than weaklings, no different from us. Lin Yan smiled and reached out and patted Fisher Tiger on the shoulder. He believed that the man in front of him would realize this. Like us. Brother Lin, you really like to joke. Fisher Tiger gave a helpless smile. However, he himself also had the kind of character that told the truth, and the look on his face soon became firm. I understand. Brother Lin saved my life. The most I can do is return it to you. What do you need me to do? Fisher Tiger knows that. If Lin Yan hadn't appeared here, what would have happened next for him would have been tragic. First of all, let's escape with these people. Lin Yan chuckled and said. Then he snapped his fingers again, and no one saw what he had done. All the iron doors of the cells suddenly turned into pieces. I were free. Sir, thank you so much. If you need my help in the future, I will never refuse. The slaves immediately cheered. However, because of Lin Yan's previous reminder, everyone still kept their voices low, but the excitement on their faces was enough to explain their mood. The eyes he looked at Lin Yan gradually became respectful. Lin Yan didn't care much about these promises. Real or fake. Anyway, I won't stay here for too long. Just follow the original plan and let Marie Joy's be chaotic. As for these slaves in front of me, I can only wish them good luck. Brother Lin, the problem has not been solved yet, look at this. Amidst the cheering expressions of all the slaves, Fisher Tiger walked up to Lin Yan with a somewhat silent expression and pointed at his neck. There is a collar on it, which is flashing red light. This is the way the celestial dragons control their slaves. As long as you leave a certain range, the collar will explode immediately, so the slaves here dare not resist. I forgot about it. Lin Yan slapped his head. Then Thunder Fruit's ability suddenly activated. No matter what the instrument or principle is, even if it is extremely sophisticated, it will definitely not be able to withstand the damage of lightning. In a sense, Lin Yan's Thunder Fruit is the nemesis of this type of precision machinery. Click. Along with a crisp sound, black smoke emitted from the explosive collars around the necks of all the slaves. Anyone with a discerning eye could tell that this thing was useless. Everyone looked at Lin Yan with admiration. Okay, now you can escape under the leadership of Brother Fisher Tiger. Remember not to make too much noise. After a while, I will make some noise to assist you. The way from now on is just it's up to you. Lin Yan said to the slaves in front of him. He was going to cause chaos in Marie Joy's. But it won't kill the people in front of him. Lin Yan would not say that he is a completely good person. But at least he is not a villain who lives in vain. It's easy to create chaos. As long as these cells are blown up after the slaves escape a certain distance, the chaos caused will be enough for him to fish in troubled waters, and he can be regarded as helping them from the side. As long as the guards and strong men in front of the treasure house leave to participate in the suppression because of this incident, Lin Yan's goal will be achieved. Thank you, sir. This is enough. Yeah, Lousy doesn't want to stay in this place for a minute. As long as there is hope of living, the worst case scenario is death. I'm done. The slaves thanked him one after another. No matter what, Lin Yan in front of them brought them hope of survival. Before, it was because there was no hope of escaping, but now I saw that the power they could unleash was extremely amazing. Lin Yan smiled with satisfaction. Then Tiger, the rest is up to you. See you on the Fishman Island. Don't worry, Brother Lin, I will do it even if I risk my life. Fisher Tiger nodded solemnly. Maybe Lin Yan's behavior is similar to that of a madman. But looking at these hopeful slaves in front of him, not to mention Lin Yan, even Fisher Tiger was a little touched. At the same time, I also felt a sense of mission. Of course, Fisher Tiger wouldn't know that this was what he was supposed to do originally, but it was just a little earlier because of Lin Yan's appearance. Brother, is it over yet? After seeing that everyone had reached an agreement, Little Hancock cautiously poked his head out of the entrance to the sewer. The eyes looking at Lin Yan were shining. Fisher Tiger was stunned when he saw this. Brother Lin, this child is. Fisher Tiger looked at the sudden appearance of Little Hancock in a daze. To be honest, he didn't expect Lin Yan to come with a girl. Nima, how great is this feeling? Sneaking into Marie Joy's is dangerous enough. There is also a little girl who is obviously a dragster. Even Fisher Tiger couldn't help but give Lin Yan a thumbs up. You are really brave, big brother. Seeing Fisher Tiger's Spartan expression, Little Hancock was obviously a little frightened and couldn't help but hide behind Lin Yan. The Empress was so timid when she was a child. Lin Yan smiled bitterly and shook his head. She was caught here just like you, but she escaped and met me because of some chance. I see. Fisher Tiger nodded clearly. Looking at Little Hancock hiding behind Lin Yan, Fisher Tiger tried his best to show a gentle expression on his rough face. Try not to scare the little ones. Little girl, do you want to escape with us? However, Little Hancock shook his head firmly, and then gently pulled Lin Yan's clothes. Big brother, me, my sister. As he spoke, tears were about to appear in his big eyes. Lin Yan understood. You must know that besides the Little Hancock in front of you, there were also her 2 younger sisters who were arrested together. To be able to still remember my sister when it seems like I can escape, I can only say that she is worthy of being the future empress. After thinking about it, Lin Yan waved his hand to Fisher Tiger. I will handle her affairs. You can start taking action. Remember not to make too much noise. Then in half an hour, I will start taking action here. Understood. Fisher Tiger nodded. He was also a resolute man, and he immediately waved his hand to the slaves to escape, and soon there was no one in the cell. Fisher Tiger walked at the end and took a deep look at Lin Yan before leaving. Although I don't know what you want to do, Brother Lin. But it is definitely not something I can control. Sorry, I know I can't help much, but if I can, I will prepare the best in the back streets. The wine is waiting for you. In response, Lin Yan just gave him a wild smile. I took note of it. Also, who do you think I am? Haha. That's right. Fisher Tiger smiled heartily, strode out of the cell, and soon disappeared with the slaves. Fisher Tiger is seen leaving. Lin Yan then slowly put away the smile on his face and turned to look at Little Hancock beside him. Are you scared? If you're around Big Brother, don't be afraid. Little Hancock raised his pretty face firmly and looked at Lin Yan, as if he wanted to carve the face of the man in front of him into his heart. It was she who gave herself the hope of living. It also brings hope of saving my sister. Little Hancock even felt a little regretful that she could not underestimate Lin Yan's face, but she was sensible and would not ask Lin Yan to take off his cloak. I will only keep this kindness in my heart. I saw Little Hancock with a determined look on his face. Lin Yan couldn't help but smile heartily. Good girl. Afterwards, he and Little Hancock stood quietly and waited. In a moment, half an hour flew by. It just so happens that I'm a little tired of the air here. Lin Yan raised his head, a sharp look suddenly flashed in his deep eyes. The next second, all the power of Thunderfruit exploded. Boom. Thunder exploded in the sky, like the roar of an angry god. The people of Marie Joyeux looked at the huge thunderclouds that suddenly gathered in the sky in horror. Then under the tension of everyone, tears burst out. With the power to destroy everything, the thunder raged throughout Marie Joyeux, and the celestial dragons cried for their parents, wishing that their parents had given them 2 extra legs. The strong men stationed here all showed solemn expressions. This feeling. Logia's ability user. Whoever dares to cause trouble here must die. The source. Cell number 1. Do it. Suddenly, all the strong men in Marie Joyeux became aware of the news. On the eaves, on the streets, black shadows flashed across the night sky, and everyone's target was the direction from which the breath came. At this time, Fisher Tiger also moved the slaves quietly to the edge of Marie Joyeux. Hearing the roar of thunder, Fisher Tiger turned his head in realization. Looking at the thunderclouds filling the sky like a natural disaster, a hint of admiration appeared on the man's face. As expected of Brother Lin. How many secrets are you hiding? As he spoke, Fisher Tiger shook his head and turned to look at the dull slave beside him. Don't stand there. Let's go. This is the best chance. At the same time, on the other side, Lin Yan felt the powerful aura rising throughout the Holy Land, with a sarcastic smile on his face. It's almost done. Little Hancock, come with me. Big Brother needs to solve some things first, and then he will take you to find your sister. Little Hancock nodded obediently. Lin Yan laughed, and then the 2 of them disappeared in an instant. There are endless martial arts. Lin Yan's fruit ability has been developed to an incredible extent. The thunderclouds all over the sky are his cover. As long as Lin Yan wants, you can integrate yourself into this thunderstorm anytime and anywhere. These people will never catch his breath in this life. Are you worthy? Just a few minutes after Lin Yan left with Little Hancock, the strong men finally rushed to cell number 1. However, seeing this scene in front of them, everyone's expressions became even more gloomy. Under the previous powerful force, half of the entire cell number 1 had completely disappeared. Not to mention ruins, but almost there. Of course, this is not the point. Those damn slaves. Have they defected? The leading CP officer's face was gloomy, veins popped out on his forehead, and he was obviously extremely angry. No doubt. They were fooled. A group of people rushed here in a hurry, but they didn't even catch half a person. Isn't this being tricked? Try to find. After a while, the man calmed down his furious mood, but his face was still as gloomy as water, and he spoke coldly to his companions beside him. Even if I have to use all the power of Marie Joyce, dig 3 feet into the ground, I have to find this person. The majesty of the celestial dragons cannot be disobeyed. This is the absolute truth. Facing the half-destroyed cell number 1 in front of them, every CP's face was as dark as water. Causing disaster in Marie Joyce, destroyed cell number 1. Freed all the slaves here. It also frightened the celestial dragons quite a bit. Each of these is enough for a person to be cut into pieces by 1,000 knives and experience the most painful punishment in the world. If no one is caught, the higher-ups will be blamed. No one dared to think any further. What's more, some people couldn't help but tremble all over. The leader of CP looked extremely sad. He's still here. Don't worry, slaves. Those are trivial matters compared to this man. If you don't want to die, use all your strength to find this man. Otherwise, we all know the consequences. Yes. The rest of the CPS trembled. They understand how terrifying the celestial dragons are. Thinking of this, the agents didn't dare to delay, and scattered away one after another, with ferocious expressions on their faces that vowed to dig deep. Don't want us to live? Then go die first. However, what they didn't know was that at this moment, Lin Yan, the culprit, had already taken little Hancock with him, and swaggered into a thunderbolt and landed in front of an exquisite building. This is the treasure trove of celestial dragons. Even if it is said that it contains wealth comparable to that of the entire world, it is not wrong. Don't say anything else. Just the amount of gold in the sky every year is an astronomical figure that is unimaginable. Even the treasure trove of the Whitebeard pirates is far behind. Lin Yan squinted his eyes and felt that there was no aura of strong men around him, then he couldn't help but reveal a wanton smile on his face. It seems that my previous troubles were very effective. If nothing else happens, some people will go crazy, right? Lin Yan smiled gloatingly. No need to think. Now all the strong men in Marie Joyce must be digging deep to find themselves. The streets, alleys, and nooks and crannies will definitely not be missed. But how could they imagine it? Find yourself in one of the most important places in Marie Joyce. Do you think that if I cause trouble, I will find a dark place to hide like a rat crossing the street? It doesn't exist. It's dark under the lamp, that's what it's like. Brother. He laughs so strangely. Seeing the gloating smile on Lin Yan's face, little Hancock pulled Lin Yan's clothes with some dissatisfaction. How could my big brother smile so strangely? I must have read it wrong. Well, that's right. You'll be laughing weirder than me in a while. Lin Yan smiled and touched little Hancock's little head. He looked at the little girl and snorted in disdain. Without saying anything, he pushed the door open with his backhand. The disdainful little Hancock was stunned. Big brother, this. Little Hancock opened his eyes wide and looked at the scene in front of him that was like a dream. He was so frightened that he could not speak. Mountains of gold and silver. A mountain of gold and silver in a literal sense. There are so many Baileys that even the eyes cannot count them. Even using quantifiers like mountains of gold will make people speechless. All kinds of precious treasures. A weapon that looks powerful when it shines. All kinds of strange fruits. Famous paintings, works of art. Hancock has never seen such a scene in his whole life. Not even in dreams. Coincidentally, neither did Lin Yan. Good guy. I can only say that you are worthy of being celestial dragons. Compared with you, those black-hearted businessmen are simply unworthy of carrying shoes. Even Lin Yan, who had seen a lot of strong winds and waves, was stunned by the glittering golden light in front of him, and it took him a long time to react. Immediately, the smile on his face became a little distorted. Showing a greedy expression. Big brother. You laugh so strangely. I don't know either. Little Hancock, you are not the same. The eyes of the big one and the small one were already shining with golden light. Well, money's gold, poverty limited my imagination. After a long while, Lin Yan took a breath to calm down, and then immediately took out the holy grail of the netherworld that he held. With the amount of treasure in front of you, not to mention saving Whitebeard's life, it would be more than enough to transform him into a god. Brother, what is this? Little Hancock looked at the holy grail that Lin Yan took out with some surprise. There was a little admiration in his eyes. I don't know if it's an illusion. Little Hancock always felt that compared to all the treasures here, these 3 gorgeous cups are the most precious. It's so precious that all the treasures here combined can't be compared to it. And that's exactly what happened. The holy grail of the netherworld can twist and subvert life at will. It can be called the highest level holy relic, containing magical power like a god. How could it be compared to simple possessions? It's not even suitable for carrying shoes, right? Lin Yan naturally knew this, and the expression on his face slowly calmed down, and he began to activate the power of the holy grail. Buzz. A strange wave began to spread throughout the space. Under the surprised eyes of little Hancock, the Baileys piled up like mountains began to melt like butter. Finally, it turned into strange golden light, which was absorbed by the 3 holy grails. These Baileys are the least valuable things here. The wealth accumulated by the celestial dragons for 800 years was disappearing at an alarming speed, and was turned into power and filled into the holy grail. Soon, there wasn't even a Bailey to be found here. Lin Yan raised the corners of his mouth slightly. I accepted it without any courtesy. After making such a shameless declaration, Lin Yan turned his attention to those truly precious things. Although the power of the Holy Grail has been filled a lot, it is enough to save Whitebeard's life. It was even enough to bring several of him back to the top. But in line with the precious spirit of, I want it all, Lin Yan had no intention of leaving even a dime to those bastards from celestial dragons from the beginning. Precious ore? I want it. Devil fruit? Get it you. Weapon? Famous sword? I accepted it without mercy. Famous paintings? Artwork? I'll just work harder and help you sell the money. Soon, the celestial dragons had accumulated 800 years of treasure and wealth, and the floor was cleaner than it had been licked. Lin Yan exhaled a contented breath. This wave of blood profit. At this point, my most important goal has been achieved. What? Are celestial dragons distressed? Nothing to do with lousy. After doing all this, Lin Yan put away the Holy Grail, showed a bright smile on his face, and turned his head to look at the little Hancock beside him. Okay, now we can go find your sister.